It's go time.
Fade in.
I need a username. And I have a great one. Little Kid Lover. That way people will know exactly where my priorities are at.
By the way, he gave me permission to touch him.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
How dare you?
Put a chick in it, make her gay.
I love nothing more than to be dragged out at every fucking conceivable opportunity so you can fucking current date us.
Anytime there's women in it, make it gay.
This is the first time that we see a woman and the first time that we see a black woman in this area and this world.
But Mrs. Kennedy, Bambi's a baby deer.
Baby deer, put a chick in it, make her gay.
And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight and then watch the hair come back up again. If I learned about roaches, I learned about kids jumping on my lap.
No, God!
The power of one!
And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
Has anyone taken
Power two. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Peace. The power of many.
You shout like that, they put you in jail. Right away.
Sexism in gaming.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
No trial, no nothing.
The games industry is diverse naturally. Not because anyone's making them be diverse. Because the world is diverse, you stupid mother.
F***ing pronouns! F***ing gender ambiguity!
You serious?
Journalists, we have a special jail for journalists.
Serious crap!
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
You keep doing that, no one up here is gonna call you Donald Trump anymore. We're gonna call you Donald Duck.
Weird, weird.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm!
Oh, you know it, lad. You know that Hassan Piker? I'm coming to kill you! In Los Angeles, at your house! Or in the ring? No, in real life!
I don't know, Purple Sky, maybe I'm the third person after all. Somebody pointed out to me on Twitter that my Twitter bio right now says it is their birthday. So apparently I'm no longer a he, him, I'm a they, theirs. I don't know. It is what it is. Maybe it's because it's me and my wife. That could be it. It's their birthday because we have the same birthday. Hey, Oblivion, thank you. I will let her know. The funniest thing is we have we've got the 3 kids. And I was at work all day, and so she decorated the house, and they put up like little dad happy birthday balloon signs. And the funny part is that we just tucked him in and said goodnight to him, and she's like, none of them said happy birthday to me. It's like they all forgot it was her birthday for some reason. I'm like, guys, it's not just mine, it's hers too. But yeah, it's a weird thing having the same birthday as your spouse, especially because we have twins. And so given that we have twins, we only have 3 birthdays total in the house to have to keep track of. My oldest kid, the twins, and then the wife of mine. So it's a weird situation. Oh yeah, before we get into all the deets about all the juicy, awful, horrible stuff that's gone down today, because apparently it's my birthday and that's what we're going to talk about today, I decided to whip up a new shirt. Let me know what you guys think about this. It's on the shop, and I was inspired by Kotaku. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. We'll go like full screen here. Let me know if that one works for you guys or not. I might order one of these just to have a demo. I think it's a stroke of genius, personally. The new Disney vice president? I did not. Is that a thing? I mean, there's a lot of breaking news. There's a lot of stuff going on. Oh yeah, the vid. So we're gonna talk about that in a few minutes. But honestly, that's actually not that big of a deal. Hey, Mahendra, are you on the other? Oh, you're on the podcast chat. Okay. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, where they confronted him and he drove off. Yeah. But no, so I created this shirt over the course of the last couple of hours while I was multitasking other stuff. I wanted to have so much stuff ready for tonight. I wanted to have a new article up. I wanted to have videos recorded for tomorrow. I wanted to have, fun birthday activities and shit to do on here. I had no time. See, Mahendra, now you're on the other chat. Yeah, I'm streaming to the podcast channel, which I've never done before. I just wanted to give it a shot because typically when I do these kind of things, I don't stream to Twitch or Kick because it's not a gaming stream, so I don't bother streaming to those. Hey, it looks like the bots on Twitter have found us tonight, though, guys. We are up to 93 total viewers, and I think most of those are bots on Twitter. So, hey, bots, how's it going? 2 channels live streaming is very confusing. Well, the only reason I even considered doing that tonight was the fact that I don't regularly upload content to the other channel. So I figure at least this way, if we cover some of the topics that I would normally post over there, this at least gives them something to view on the other channel. Especially because afterwards the live stream is viewable once it, finishes processing and all that. I know it can be confusing, but not everybody who follows the podcast channel follows this channel and vice versa. So it just gives everybody some options. Let's see, what else? Oh, while I'm actually thinking about it, I want to give a special shout out to... Where is he at? Last week, we got our very first channel member, and I want to give him a special shout out. I don't think he ever hops into the streams, but he's been a long time subscriber. Caesar Saran, who was officially the first minimalist we have here, so kudos to him. Much appreciated. Let me give him a nice round of applause here. No, that's not applause. Where's the applause at? There we go. Yes, I am still working on Elden Ring DLC. We'll be back to it later this week. But yeah, it's just been crazy busy here. My mom is finishing up flight attendant training. I have been running our business solo. I have been the one that's taking care of everything. It's a lot. Once got bots who were saying the N-words that are banning things together. Yeah, that was over the whole Stellar Blade controversy, wasn't it? Yeah, no, I watch Veridark's content pretty much every day. Honestly, the difficulty of the DLC is stupid because it's not actually that hard. It's just annoying. I've seen, so kind of what I talked about in the video that I uploaded this morning or last night, I can't remember when that was, is how I feel about it. The reality is the DLC on its own, I don't think is any harder than the base game. They just make it weird given the fact that essentially it doesn't matter how high of a level you are, you have to reset your stats, in a roundabout sort of way, because of the fact that you have to pick up those Skadgetry fragments in order to make the game manageable. So it kind of means like everything you did up to that point doesn't matter anymore, It's stupid. From a dark channel, too many compared to other channels. Yeah, I mean, everyone's got different people that they enjoy, so. But yeah, no, we've already gotten over 100 viewers concurrently right now, and I think, like I said, most of those are bots. It's absolutely bonkers. 109, God, this is terrible. All right, well, we're just gonna jump into the news. There was something else I wanted to get to, but we're just gonna get right to it. So before we get to Dr. Disrespect, we're going to cover this whole thing about Square Enix and the dude, Del Walker, who decided to completely cuck and back off after he had said the thing about needing to be able to make beautiful black women in games and then having that kind of retracted. So let's get on to this topic here. Oh, too many ads. Oh, that's interesting. So YouTube is weird. I noticed, let me see, about 2 weeks ago, after having about a month where there were very few ads on any channel that I watched, now they're all back. So I don't know if there was like an ad shortage, like if they didn't have as many ads they were being paid for, so they weren't running as many. I don't know. I have no idea what the deal was. But the long and the short of it is, ads are a part of YouTube, unfortunately. It sucks, but it is what it is. Sorry, I'm having my birthday cake and some coffee. So, this one was funny because we've seen stuff like this with Disney, right? So a lot of people have finally been asking at Disney shareholder meetings, like, okay, Bob, what are we doing about this? Like, you guys are pissing off all of our customers. You're chasing off all of our existing fan bases. You just flat out are not being smart with how you're navigating our business, right? Well, Purple Sky, that's the thing, though. A lot of us, this is, hey, Alequiz, this is the apocalypse or adpocalypse. Is that what we're? That's where we're at now, I guess, right? Lack of entertainment. Okay, so here's the thing, Mahendra. Not everybody chooses to run ads on their channels. Styx Hexenhammer, on his YouTube channels, he opted out of ads. For me, I only monetize my channels because it helps offset the extra time and energy it takes to do this kind of stuff. Once you are able to finally get monetized, it legitimizes what you're doing. Unfortunately, what that means is you guys watch ads from time to time, which sucks. Trust me, I get it. I had to resubscribe to somebody, Carl Benjamin's Twitch stream today. I used my free Prime sub on him. But like the first 30 seconds I opened his stream, I'm stuck watching an ad and I hated it. So, I don't know. Do you not get ads on my videos and stuff when you watch my stuff? Because I'm sure that most people are getting ads on my stuff too. I've only had like 1 or 2 videos in the last month that got like limited ads or whatever on it. So, either way, yeah, so Purple Sky, the thing is like, if you are looking for content and you're just trying to churn out videos, then it doesn't require much investigative work. I was actually working on a video last night or night before last, that was going to get heavily into Bridge, Jedi, DEI, all the terminology that they've used, where it's coming from, what to look for next, how it's not going to be going anywhere anytime soon. And unfortunately, I just didn't have the energy. I've been so exhausted, so wiped out. Like I said, today I wanted to have all this stuff ready to go for the stream today. None of it happened. None of it happened. I did not have the time or energy. So, YouTube community note feature will destroy YouTube. Oh, yeah, that's gonna be terrible. Only because of the fact that it's going to be abused. It's bad enough that they have that AI thing going on now that kind of tells you, summarizes the chat for you or whatever. Absolutely terrible feature, in my personal opinion. So this article from that Park Place, it just kind of runs through everything we've talked about the past few months about Kim Belair and Sweet Baby Inc. and everything that they do, which basically is threatens and extorts companies to hire them to fix problems that don't exist, in order to, so that they can be this parasocial leeching company that just funnels money out of these developers' pockets, right? So then we had this shareholder meeting at Square Enix where this guy apparently asked, I'm personally happy about the shift from quantity to quality. I hope good titles will come out in the future. I'm concerned about the Canadian consulting company Sweet Baby. Square Enix is listed as a client, but is there actually a transaction there? What kind of transaction is it? Will they continue to do so in the future? And of course, the thing about this is the Japanese haven't had to deal with this to the extent that Western audiences have. Now, before I even get any further, I think it needs to be said that Japanese people are not like this bastion of traditionalism that a lot of us in the West think they are. They just simply, from what I understand, don't have nearly the amount of bullshit that we have over here. So it's not that they don't have what you would call wokeness over there. It's not that there's not progressivism. It's that it's not like the pink-haired, nose-ring-wearing freaks like we have over here in the West. So the shareholder's asking for a Chrono Trigger, but he doesn't want SBI to destroy the game. Well, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, SBI will destroy any game that they touch, and like you said, that's the joke, because there's no way that happens. And so the Square Enix president, Takashi Kuru, responded with, I would like to refrain from making specific comments about individual clients as we shift from quantity to quality. Providing content that is enjoyable and safe for our customers is also part of what makes product fun. We will do our best as creators. This statement right here is really concerning to, like, personally to me. I don't speak Japanese. I can't translate. I can't read all their letters and stuff. But what I'm looking at right here is this statement: providing content that is enjoyable and safe. Like, what do they mean by that? Are they talking about safe for Western audiences, safe for modern audiences? Are they talking about safe for families? No, because it says enjoyable and safe for our customers. Who do they think their customers are, right? again, it's this idea that are they chasing the modern audience? Are they going for, traditional customer bases? Like, it's a very insidious statement in my opinion. Part of what I was looking at last night, like I was saying, they're trying to phase out the DEI terminology. The DEI terminology, you're going to start seeing less and less from all these corporations, from the top all the way down. They're going to start, we've already seen them like firing and removing these DEI coordinators and stuff, not paying them anymore, getting rid of their positions, not because they don't buy into the DEI crap. It's because of the fact that they've already embedded it into the company's core beliefs moving forward, so they no longer feel that they need to do it. And so that's where we're at. These companies, they're implementing the bridge, which I want to say is, oh crap, it's such a convoluted term. I'll have to look up bridge later, but they're replacing DEI with bridge. Bridge is DEI, except they don't say DEI anymore. And again, it's this whole, we've spent enough years now embedding this into these corporations. It's just going to be the standard moving forward, and we're not even going to have to say DEI. It's going to be like you say, I go to work. It's going to be synonymous with that. Safe for who? Yeah, exactly. DEI, ESG, infected Dead or Alive game would be horrible. Oh, can you imagine Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball Modern Edition, like for modern audiences? Dude, all the girls would be in like one-piece bathing suits with like amputated legs, 400 pounds. They looked like the characters off of that dating game that Sweet Baby was attached to. Crap, what was the name of that game? The dating simulator with all the like the they, them, he, zers with the they were all like black and overweight. Oh my god, how can I not? That was one of the first games I talked about on here. I'm gonna have to remember. I'll have to figure it out. Make the characters have man faces. Not just man faces. The characters are gonna have like 3 chins. They're all gonna be like morbidly obese. So yeah, Del Walker. This dude has had me blocked for months now, okay? Validate. Thank you, Alequiz. Thank you. So, this guy, Del Walker, he works at, well, has worked at Naughty Dog. He has worked at Respawn. He's been attached to Apex Legends, which is super woke, like massively woke. He's been a BAFTA member, board member, I guess, for 3 years, a games committee representative, member and judge. Senior character artist at Rocksteady, and you can see Rocksteady's got the whole transgender pride flag logo here on LinkedIn. So of course all the virtue signaling is going hard on that one. But he came out and said this thing about how there's been a handful of times that he's pitched black women characters that looked like this woman on the left, who's very pretty. Then after 10 iterations, the concept or model comes back without a speck of the original beauty that he pitched. And again, more like the one on the right here. Think you just got harassed by a police officer? Well, was she hot? Well, my brother's a police officer, but he's in Wisconsin, and he probably wouldn't harass you. He's pretty chill. He's a sheriff in a small town in Wisconsin, so. So Del Walker then went on to say, I'm not talking about mild changes. I'm talking about pose, aura, style, softness, age, and flair. I hate giving Gamergate men fuel, but it's very difficult to pitch beautiful or vain black women in games without them coming back like grocery store aunties. There's room for both. 40-year-old aunties, exactly. So now today he has actually come out and backed off. Check this out. After some private DMs today with other black developers. So you know what this is. This is those kind of guys that, you know, they'll message him and tell him what he's doing to hurt like the black community, or that he's not black enough, or probably calling him some horrible racial slurs that apparently is okay as long as, you know, you're saying it against the right person. But yeah, he says, after some private DMs today with other black developers, I will no longer be publicly discussing black representation in games for the foreseeable. No more panels, articles, podcasts, nothing. This is not up for discussion, nor is it an invitation to try and change my mind. Cheers. This man got his virtual ass beat, okay? I've never seen somebody, like, cuck so hard. I mean, okay, Will Smith. Will Smith might have this guy beat, but holy crap, like, what could possibly have happened to him? DEI Walker, yeah. Well, he's lucky he wasn't DIE Walker. This sounds pretty bad. The collective corrected him 100%, Alequiz. 1,000%. But yeah, it's always these guys. BAFTA committee member. 14 years of game industry experience as an artist. And you know, the thing is, it's not that he's not without talent. Like some of the stuff that I've seen in, like, for example, Apex Legends and other stuff, it's not that these guys couldn't put their talents to good use if they were steered in the right direction. The problem is that they're all a bunch of woke idiots that focus so heavily on the LGBT crap and needing to make sure they're inclusive and diverse when they're not realizing it's like, guys, like, think about it. The new Dragon Age game, right? Have you seen beyond the art, beyond everything being purple for gay and transgender people, the actual character, like group of characters, they, honest to God, it's like they went and got one of each. We need one black person, one Indian, one Mexican, one Chinese, one, you know, whatever, one, you know, effeminate white man, one other. It's like, what the hell? You know, you can have a game with mixed ethnicities and mixed diversity into it without it literally being a checkbox, which is all this crap has turned into. All academy training wasted, rest in peace, 15 years of experience. Yeah, 1,000%. You hear calling a black man Uncle Tom is fairly negative. Yeah, well, there's that, and then there's the few other ones that apparently are, it's okay for a black person to call another black person, provided they're on different sides of the political spectrum or on different sides of an argument. Then they'll whip out that word. The little four-legged black and white striped creatures out in the yard. Like, that's okay, apparently, as long as it's against somebody who has the wrong ideas. Then you can call them that. By the way, Costco has the best birthday cake. If you guys don't have Costco, the Costco wholesale warehouses, their bakery is like freaking amazing. Grocery store cake has got nothing on Costco. Which one are we up to now? Oh. So on top of that, we were talking a little bit ago about this new shooter game, Concord, right? Didn't Apex Legends have 2 female characters who were kissing on a Twitter post? Yeah, so Purple Sky, let me tell you something. I don't know if you played Apex Legends or not. I started playing it a few months after it dropped, okay? Game was solid. Awesome combat. You know, about a half dozen characters that were pretty cool, pretty interesting. And again, they were diverse. You had the big Hawaiian guy who turns out he was gay. You have the black chick with kind of the side of her head shaved up a little bit, but not too, it wasn't too cringe. Let's see, you had the African chick. You had white guy. I'm trying to think who the other original characters were. But you had a decent mix, like 7 or 8 characters, right? Game was fun. Oh, thanks, Dragon Core, appreciate it. You almost said the slurs IRL. You can say them IRL, just don't say them on the stream. It's not that I haven't said things that you aren't supposed to say in real life. It's just that I can't say them on here. You got to be smart about that stuff. We got bakers in Germany for, what does it say, for cake everywhere? Well, yeah, but I'm sure the cakes in Germany are top notch. I'm just talking about, like, compared to, like, grocery stores like Wiz, that's all. Walking Dead Telltale Season 1 tag was great. So Apex Legends was fantastic. The characters were cool, they were diverse, the game was awesome, gameplay was awesome, the maps were awesome, weapons were awesome. Then it got popular. Then they started making every third character gay, trans, bisexual, androgynous. You know, they nerfed the hell out of the weapons. They got into the esports, and it just went to hell. You know, they made the game look like Fortnite. Kind of like this Concord game. So apparently now, you know, leapfrogging over this whole thing with Del Walker, now we have this rumor that came out today saying that PlayStation Studios is seeking a non-white transgender actor to lead a new game. The story will focus on how their culture does not accept women as leaders in their community. So essentially what they're talking about is Palestinians. I mean, can we say it? The irony of the fact, and here's the thing, I've already said before, the whole Israel, Gaza, Palestine thing, I don't want to take anybody's side. I want to stay as far away from that conflict as possible and sit over here and mind my business. I don't want anybody to go to war for anybody else. Like, that's my position. But the people who are, like, pushing the hardest for the gay stuff in the video games all have Palestinian flags in their bios, and it cracks me up. I'm like, guys, just Get out of your ideological bubble for 5 seconds. These people do not like gay people. They don't celebrate Pride. They don't know. No, they don't. Contra. There you go. I gotta see if the Nintendo Switch probably has Contra on the online side of it. Part of the cool thing about the Nintendo Switch is that it's got so many of those old games you can play for free. Concord looks like you took all the Go Woke Broke thumbnails and used a polymerization. Yeah, I mean this monstrosity of a creature here, between the giant mole by her eye, the heavy eyeshadow, the definitely you can tell obese body and face, the blue lipstick, and the fact that she's not just a black woman. You can tell she's a mixed black woman. It's like, dude, you checked 9 different boxes with this character, and then the armor looks horrible too. It's not just the look of the character, the whole damn package is bad. According to a new whisper on the digital streets, Sony's PlayStation Studios is currently looking to develop a new game centered on a male-to-female transgender protagonist who seeks to prove herself among the misogynistic values of her culture. So basically, it's that Predator movie Prey, right? I'm sorry, I know some people liked Prey. I don't get it. I think it was one of the worst Predator movies ever made. I've watched all of them, and by far, I would put it in my bottom 3. I would put it down there with The Predator, and I think The Predator is probably the absolute worst. The one that had Aaron Rodgers' old girlfriend. What's her face? I can't remember her name. Warhammer plus Hades plus South of Midnight. Dude, I forgot that Flintlock game is coming out till I saw somebody talking about it. Asian made games are the last Star Wars hope of the gaming industry. Yeah, well, talking about this whole DEI thing where they're kind of rebranding it and changing the name of DEI, I don't know that it is like any actual hope left. We might be down to where we have to see the game industry completely crash and only have the indie studios left. Because personally, this stuff is so embedded, I don't know how we ever get out of this. I don't see a way out. Other than just not spending any money on the games, letting the industry crash, and then it can course correct. I mean, look, my son, he is not a computer whiz. He's not really into math, but he's smart, and he's recently started like getting into coding. I'm talking baby coding. He's learning like the ins and outs of the basics, beginning of coding. But all it's going to take is a generation of these kids that grew up with parents like me, or like anybody else who's just like sick and tired of all this crap. And those kids are going to grow up into adults who are going to figure out how to code and make their own games. And they're not going to be, beholden to the way that the AAA industry has gone. Oh no, cake is super moist, and it's mostly at this point a piece of frosting. So thanks, Gregory, appreciate it. So word of this title's development was first raised on June 20th, courtesy of the noted Spanish language PlayStation fan account, Notoplay. It's always funny. It's always funny that it's these like French or Spanish accounts that get all these leaks. There are so many of them. It's like, how is this possible? It's always these non-Western or non-English speaking accounts that get all the good stuff. Detailing a casting call they would later purport to have witnessed firsthand, the account explained that the game was looking to feature a girl of 20 to 30 years of age, of dark skin and transgender, who was an expert in knives as its protagonist. I'm confused. Are they looking for somebody who is in real life a 20 to 30-year-old dark-skinned transgender woman who's also an expert at knives? Or are they trying to find just the voice actress that they can use, or voice actor, I should say, for the character in the game? Like, what are they trying to find here? Oh, man. A game about school, I'm good. See, my kids, Pokemon is not their favorite game. They love all of the different Pokemon cartoons. They've watched all of them, apparently. I guess they have gotten through every series of Pokemon that's ever existed. Wow. That being said, they have like 2 Pokemon games, and they have not finished either one. So it's really weird. When cancer reaches bone level, it can't be removed. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Frosting tastes like plastic. Well, okay, that depends on the frosting. That if it's like really good actual buttercream frosting made from scratch with butter and sugar and all that, then it shouldn't taste like plastic. If you ever get the tubs of pre-mixed frosting for like doing decoration on a cake, like from like Michael's has the little Wilton, like 1 pound tub of decorator's frosting. That shit tastes like plastic, 100%. Hates Pokemon games, loves the cards. My kids have the cards and don't know how to properly play. So that's a really weird one. So you can see here it says un casting para un juego de, yeah, I don't speak Spanish. Chica de unos 20 to 30 años, de piel morena y transgénero, experta en cuchillos. Oh yeah, the cuchillo, that'd be a knife, right? Historia tratada, yeah. No habla español, ich spreche Deutsch. Well, ein bisschen. Met with an understandable wave of skepticism in response to their post. Note to play would return to the topic 2 days later to clarify some things. Addressing some of the most common criticism leveled against them, the news account asserted it was never bait, it is 100% real. The info was taken from a page where you have to register to see the casting calls. I claim that it is a PlayStation Studios game because the casting director's history 99% of the time works for Sony Interactive, I guess, SIE, Sony Interactive Entertainment. Trust me, guys, the account said, I would never go into the mud without being 100% sure of things with a sensitive topic like this. You've lost all your Pokemon cards? Well, I never had any. Most games have chapters aged to 20s to late 20s in books if the audience is young adults, teens. My kids love books. My kids love reading. Honestly, at this point, my daughter has read through... My daughter's 9. And this year alone, she read through the entire Harry Potter series. I think she's halfway through Chronicles of Narnia. I'm trying to get her to read The Hobbit. I want her to read The Hobbit and then maybe try Lord of the Rings. Ooh, coffee's getting cold. Gross. Unfortunately for those curious and those skeptical, no to play is yet to provide any further details regarding the casting call, including the identity of its casting director. Yeah. Oh, more cringe. Look at that dude. Game is going to be awful. Switched to Yu-Gi-Oh! When you matured? I never got into that. I never did any of that. Yeah, the funny thing is I never read... This is the weird thing. I grew up with 3 older brothers, and they all read the Narnia books, or at least a couple of them did. So I always got the story secondhand, so I didn't actually read the books for myself. But apparently, yeah, the end of the book is what? The kids are like on a train crash, and they all die and go to heaven, essentially all at the same time, or some terrible thing like that, I guess. I can't remember. Wheel of Time. So in October, I went to a buddy's wedding that I had never met in person. I met him through Twitch. And my wife and I flew out there and we were in his wedding. And the funny thing is, he's a huge, huge reader. And Wheel of Time is one of those series that he loved. But unfortunately, just like The Witcher, just like any other show like Rings of Power, although Rings of Power is not based on a book technically, it's based on fan fiction. But yeah, Wheel of Time apparently is one of those ones that they completely butchered. So, how'd you get him to eat? Did you put some frosting on his dog food? Finally, a day and a half later, he's finally hungry enough to eat. Narnia is... Oh, okay, yeah, transported to another world. I can't remember. All I know is, yeah, it just like ends abruptly or whatever from what I heard. So... I need to take more time to read, but I need more time in general. I still have books that I got for our trip in March that we went on that I haven't read. I'm not surprised. Oh, yeah, the cat stole my balloon. My sister-in-law brought me a giant balloon apparently when I was at work, and the cat's been dragging it around the house. Most kids couldn't get into it on the East Coast. The Bible Belt ran Yu-Gi-Oh! Down almost as fast as Pokemon. I need to get that book about Darth Revan. Also, people have said the book about Darth Plagueis is good, right? So, yeah, it was a bad time. So, I was born in 86, grew up in the 90s, and I remember when everyone freaked out about The Matrix and thought The Matrix caused the Columbine school shooting. And then there was Harry Potter, and all the Christians hated Harry Potter. And my mom hated Harry Potter because she thought it was satanic. And then it's like, well, I grew up not knowing if it was satanic or not. I turned into a teenager. I watched the Matrix movies for myself. I'm like, these are good movies. What are you talking about? Still, I went on to be more of a Lord of the Rings fan. But then my kids all read Harry Potter. I watched half the movies. I'm like, these are good. Like, no, they're not the greatest movie ever. No, they're not the greatest story ever. But unfortunately, so many times you have that satanic panic culture that kicks in. Well, now, there are legitimately things that I believe are demonic and that you should definitely keep away from your kids and your family, and those things do exist. But unfortunately, a lot of times they get labeled like that simply because of magic or spells or wizards or witches or whatever. They throw that on, and it's like it never loses that stigma, unfortunately. Light novel is very popular in Japan, like Sword Art Online. Oh, okay. Harry Potter movies cut a lot of content from the books. Yeah, my daughter was actually filling us in on that because, like I said, she's read through all of them. She's like a power reader. And she was explaining how there's a lot more context in the books due to the fact that the book can expand on things a lot easier. So, yeah, so I read all the Extended Universe books to my knowledge. I don't think there was a single one that I missed. And then came the New Jedi Order, which I hated. But even then, the New Jedi Order would have been better than Disney's Star Wars, without question. For sure, real threats, most people just chasing fame, trashing the biggest thing. Yeah, unfortunately, that happens a lot. And look, there'll be plenty of things that I'll shit on for years. Like, okay, dumb thing. When I was a teenager, I did not want to watch Shrek. You know why I didn't want to watch Shrek? Because I hated the cast. Because I didn't like Mike Myers. I wasn't a huge fan of Eddie Murphy. And it was like, I don't want to watch it. Whatever. Years later, I finally watched it, and I'll be damned if I don't think Shrek is one of the best animated movies of all time. But for whatever reason, it's one of those things where I just had this thing as a teenager where I just was like flat out, no, I don't want to watch it. It looks stupid. Well, I think there's a lot of superstition in general, Mahendra, that isn't necessarily valid. I believe there is definitely demons and certain amount of Satanism that exists. But again, just like how somebody who claims to be like the Satanic Temple, they're not actually worshiping anything when you all boil it down to it. So that's a lot of gray area. I don't want to go off into the weeds on that one. Oh, Shrek is fantastic. Shrek is great. Yeah, let's jump over, though, to this Dr. Disrespect thing, because there's so much that's just, like, blowing up by the minute. In fact, I needed to check. Nicholas Diorio said that something big was supposed to drop at midnight on the East Coast, and it's already 10 o'clock here, so 1 o'clock on the East Coast, and I'm not seeing anything. Let me check and see if he's updated anything at all. I don't think I'm following him on Twitter. I don't even know his freaking Twitter handle. Diorio? I have no idea. The sad thing is, now that there is so much porn on Twitter, I can't just sit on a stream and go through Twitter, like what's trending and all that, because of the fact that, like, literally one thing could come across my screen and I'm screwed. Nicholas. I don't even know how to spell his name. Watching Star Wars with your dad, wouldn't let your son watch it now. My kids have not watched these Star Wars sequels. They have not watched the prequels yet either, and that's only because I don't want to have to sit through them. I really don't. I couldn't stand the prequels. I'm so confused. Why can I not find Nicholas Diorio's Twitter account? This is completely whacked. Let me try bookmarks. I know I had him somewhere. It's ironic that he actually got disrespected. Yeah, it's a painful irony. And look, here's the thing. People think that I've been like standing for him and shilling for him all day. No, I don't know that he's not guilty. That's not the point. It's not that I think that there's no chance on on Earth that he did what they said he did. There's so much hearsay surrounding it, and that's really what I'm sick and tired of. I'm sick and tired of everybody. You hear one person spread something online, and all of a sudden it's he is or he isn't. Whatever happened to nuance and context and waiting for evidence? Let me see. I think I've got something of Nicholas Diorio's saved on here. I'm just scrolling through my bookmarks. Hang on. This is insane. Holy crap. Let me just try this. Well, he should be one of the top accounts here. Here we go. Okay. Nicholas Diorio. Oh, I was close to spelling it properly. Yeah, there hasn't been any update at that. He said that he was told by somebody that there'd be like a nuke dropping at midnight about all this, and so far there's been no update. Surprise, surprise. I mean, I'm not shocked. So much of this is just people trying to get their 15 minutes of fame because it's a juicy topic right now. Yeah, just some evidence. That's it. I just, like, give me some screenshots. Give me some DMs. Give me something that paints a better picture of what we're looking at. And I'll get into the reason why. So let me get to where we were last night. Hang on. Yeah, so the Review Tech Meltdown thing, that shit's wild. So, okay, the only thing I knew about Review Tech USA, Rich, was that he had some beef with the frickin' Quartering, right? That's all I knew. All I knew is that he and the Quartering hate each other. But now apparently he hates Smash JT and this other guy, 8-Bit Eric or whatever his name is, or I can't keep track of all the YouTuber beefs. It's like, not only do I not have a clique or a group of guys that I run in, I'm completely separate to everybody because, like, I'm friendly with a few YouTubers like Dread Roberts, Smash JT, and that's about it as far as like the more notable ones. But like, I'm not part of anybody's hangout group or I mean, okay, I'm in one of John Del Rosa's DM groups, but I don't ever go on his live streams. So, I mean, I don't know anybody who watches Review Tech USA, but he had like 900 live viewers at one point. Spyware PC for DSP. You know, guys, I live like less than an hour from DSP. I tried to get somebody to pay me to go interview him. I'm like, hell, I have a buddy that was like super obsessed with him. I'm like, you want me to go talk to him? I can look him up. I can try to find him and go interview him or something. Like, I'd do it for $50, $100, whatever. That's cool. I wouldn't want to talk to him. He seems like a very weird, disturbed individual, but all right. Okay, so I put this on the blog on my website last night, talking about all the updates that we had as far as the whole Dr. Disrespect situation had gone. We got this guy, Cody Connors, who had been an executive of sorts, I guess, at Twitch. Some sort of guy worked in their partners department. And he put out this tweet saying he got banned because he got caught sexting a minor in the then existing Twitch Whispers product. He was trying to meet up with her at TwitchCon. The powers that be could read it in plain text. Case closed, gang. Now, here's the weird thing. If I open another browser and I go to Twitch right now, the whole thing is that this Twitch Whispers thing no longer works. They shut it down, right? Whispers still exists on Twitch. If I go here in Whispers and I shoot a message to, let me see, do I have another? Yeah, I've got another account there. I can still send a whisper. So I don't know what they're talking about as far as like the shutdown or the, the Whispers product that's no longer being used. It still exists. So I have no idea. Hey, Burner, thanks, appreciate it. But anyways, apparently they're saying that the Twitch Whispers product no longer exists, but it's still on Twitch. So I don't understand. Maybe it was a different format at the time. I don't know. Powers that be could read in plain text, case closed, gang. And then I say he followed up his accusation by saying no one made the wrong decision, F him and his boys. Dr. Disrespect would eventually put out several statements regarding the accusations, although he was careful not to acknowledge anything specific. In a response to Jake Lucky on Twitter, the doc maintained that he did nothing illegal and that Twitch paid him what he was owed. And you can see right here, he said, Jake, seriously, I get it. It's a hot topic, but this has been settled. No wrongdoing was acknowledged and they paid out the whole contract. And a lot of people, I'm sure a lot of you guys saw this, jumped on this whole no wrongdoing was acknowledged. Oh God, what the hell? I didn't mean to open that. I guess it's because I clicked on it. That was something that everybody freaked out about and was like, oh my god, he just said no wrongdoing was acknowledged. He did it. He admitted to it right there. Twitch has no age verification and Doc was going to sue them because he got catfished. I mean, maybe. Maybe that was it. I saw the Quartering had a bunch of theories about it. Like somebody messaged him and he didn't know their age, or like you said, got catfished. I don't know. But we'll get into the whole age thing in a minute. This is going to take a little while to unpack. I probably should have started with this one. I don't know that we're going to get to the James O'Keefe thing. We'll try to keep that on the back burner. Following the predictable internet firestorm, one Twitter user made some disturbing discoveries about Cody Connor's recent history on the social media platform. Madam Savvy on Twitter called out Cody for a tweet from 2023 where he claimed that he would reveal the reason Dr. Disrespect got banned if enough people purchased tickets to his concert. And he did this multiple times throughout the course of 2023, saying like, if this concert sells out, I'll say why you got banned, or if you come to this show, I might get crazy and say why you got banned, all this stuff, right? So then yesterday, at the end of the day, he kept changing his bio to say, getting sued any second now, might be getting sued, definitely not getting sued, all this stuff. And then he put out these tweets saying, those 3 tweets warrant admonishment, maybe more than 3. The stands trying to dig stuff up have been so underwhelming that I presume they missed something. I apologize for it all because it's worth apologize for. I don't know that this guy speaks English as a first language. His English is very broken on here. He went on to end it by saying, oh, let's just open the whole tweet. Make it easier. That said, I am the least sued I've ever been. Guys, lawyers work weekends. I don't think they had a few things they just needed to get to before they circled back to this. I'm also a little irked at Jake, who is very clearly trying to split the difference with what he thinks is half of his potential audience, but also I deserve to feel bad about the things he's flagged. I just do. I don't know what he means, the things he's flagged. But I also know Jake is racing to verify that screenshot from the world's leader in multiplayer entertainment is legit. Enforcement ID, and then he gives some sort of weird ID code. And things are dragging on. Knowing who I was racing, I would probably put out some content too. No idea what he's alluding to, other than apparently there were people trying to substantiate like the actual legitimacy of these whispers or whatever. He had previously put this one out, and this is the weird thing. Same tweet, but the second half of it said, exacerbating that is the fact that I know Jake has been trying to verify leaked screenshots from the TNS section of the world's leader in multiplayer entertainment since yesterday afternoon. He's racing a couple other more talented people. Jake, all of this is really silly, but the version of that document I got has your team's watermark on it, so maybe you check in. I don't understand what he's trying to say there. I have no idea. At the end of the day, neither Twitch nor Dr. Disrespect have come forward to reveal the actual reason for his ban, as it has already been 4 hours. As it had already been 4 long, exhausting years since his initial ban in August of 2020. I doubt we'll hear the exact reason anytime soon. That was the little article I put on the website last night before I went to bed. And now today, we have this complete shit show going on. Here, let me catch up on the chat. Hang on. Does everybody know about the sulfur balls that can be found around the ashen waste of Sodom and Gomorrah? Mount Sinai's top is completely burnt. Very strange, isn't it? I need to get somebody modded in here so we can ban these guys. Hang on. Can I do that from here? I don't think I can do that from here. Damn. Oh, well, just ignore that guy. Clearly he's just spamming. That they tried to get him, and all his words were always up and up, and they tried an aha got you, but they didn't. They want him off their platform. Well, and we'll get into that too. A lot of people talking about why doesn't he just deny it? Why doesn't he, say, well, I can't talk about Twitch, but I'll say that this for a fact didn't happen. All that stuff. It's a very weird situation. So that Park Place got an article out today saying video game developer Midnight Society severs relationship with Dr. Disrespect, aka Guy Beam, after heinous accusation levied against him. And so today this tweet came out earlier this afternoon saying, on Friday evening we became aware of an allegation against one of our co-founders, Guy Beam, aka Dr. Disrespect. We assumed his innocence and began speaking with parties involved. And in order to maintain our principles and standards as a studio and individuals, we needed to act. For this reason, we are terminating our relationship with Guy Beam immediately. While these facts are difficult to hear and even more difficult to accept, it is our duty to act with dignity on behalf of all individuals involved, especially the 55 developers and families we've employed along with our community of players. Yeah, I'll get you modded, Burner. Don't worry about it. Just, I don't want to have to deal with all that right now. Okay, well, Eridgar, that's great for you, Tribe of Levi, House of Ithamar. What does that have to do with what we're talking about right now? Flat Earth win. Don't get me started on the whole Flat Earth stuff, guys. I love a good conspiracy. I love anything that goes against the grain. The Flat Earth thing, I just cannot get on top of. I can't get on board with that. So essentially they put out this statement saying, after we talked to the parties involved, we decided we needed to act. Whatever that means, I don't know. Because again, if he did, oh, thanks, Blu-ray. If he did commit a crime, which, okay, we'll get to, I was going to wait till later, but I looked it up. Statute of limitations. Age of consent in California, 18 years old. Surprising, all right? I mean, I would have thought that California would have been 16 like Washington. I wish everything was 18 and up, or maybe like 21 and up, to be honest. Hollow Earth is more interesting. I'll have to get on that one. So California's age of consent is 18. Anything younger than that is considered statutory rape, or anything that's, inappropriate and criminal has to be charged as a criminal act. So clearly if this was true, it would have to be somebody who was under 18. Now, the one thing I will say on this, and I hope this doesn't get clipped and taken out of context, I have a daughter who's 9. I would never want her dating somebody if she was like, say, 17, 18 years old, who was 20, 30 years older than her. I think that's gross. However, it's not a crime if you're 18 dating somebody who's 90. It's disgusting, but it's not a crime. Unfortunately, we look at this age of consent thing as, well, we have to put the boundary somewhere. We have to put an age on it, so we pick 18. Some states, like where I live, is 16. I think that's disgusting and way too low. I think it should be at least 18. I mean, like I said, I think maybe we just raise the, voting age, marriage, whatever, to all to 21. Make everybody happy. Make sure everyone's an adult. But that being said, there is a difference, at least in my opinion, between somebody who is either tricked or naive to the fact that somebody is not quite 18 yet, but is a very mature 17 and 11 months, versus somebody who is attracted to people who are 12 years old and younger. I think there needs to be a distinction between the two. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, the absolute best way to avoid these situations, first and foremost, is to not get involved in them, obviously. If he was messaging somebody who was of a questionable age, the first mistake he made was sending the message or responding to the message, right? That was the first mistake he made. He never should have done that. But beyond that, the reality is there is always the chance that he wasn't aware of how old the person was, or he was catfished or whatever, or the whole thing is made up. So again, with no evidence being presented, it's unfortunate that he's not even getting the benefit of the doubt at this point. Just load shotgun like an anime father. I don't have shotguns. I've got more accurate weapons. So my daughter is well taken care of. Okay, but Blu-ray, if it's a Twitch cover-up, what are they covering up? Are they covering up an actual crime? Okay, so I'm okay with that theory, that he did something wrong and that Twitch covered it up. Both parties are guilty. They sign an NDA, which you're not allowed to do, to cover up a crime. It's a criminal act to try to use an NDA to suppress a crime, and so both parties are guilty. Despite the fact that I don't know that he's guilty, or that I wouldn't be surprised if he's innocent, I'm not 100% convinced that he's not guilty. I just think he needs to be treated fairly until evidence is actually presented. And if we can't see the evidence and there's no charges against him, then what the hell are we supposed to think? Well, yeah, and Gregory, it's getting worse and worse these days. It seems like the people who are most protected are the criminals themselves. That there's no question in my mind that the justice system is completely screwed up from head to toe, and more often than not, the criminal is going to be treated better than the victim. I mean, Burner, that's also possible. Again, I'm not going to put words in his mouth, because, look, it's not that Dr. Disrespect is the squeakiest clean guy on the planet. He has had his own shit in the past. So it's entirely possible he fell prey to his instincts. I'm not going to say he didn't. And if the person was under 18, and he was aware of it, that's a problem. That's a legal problem. But again, if it's a legal problem, why has Twitch not come forward in 4 years? You don't just get to say, he did something criminal, we're going to agree not to talk about it. You can't do that. Elections in prison while in some countries. Technically in the US, you can too, I think. Doing more with a lawyer than an officer. Yeah. Anyways, so this was from earlier today. This was at 2:48 p.m. It says, Dr. Disrespect seems to read a text message in this clip, which leads to his entire mood changing. This came before the Midnight Society announcement. And I want to watch these videos because all of these videos kind of paint a picture of how his mood changed throughout the course of the day. And we saw this before. If you remember, back in 2020, he was talking about stuff he wasn't supposed to talk about. At the time, he was talking about COVID. He was talking about lockdowns. He was talking about conspiracy theories, you know, the words that you're not supposed to even utter. And now are basically accepted as fact. But at the time, he was just some crazy nut job who's sharing right-wing conspiracy theories. And it's like, it wasn't even political. He was just sharing an opinion. I don't think Dr. Disrespect has ever talked politics. I don't think he's a political guy when it comes to his opinions. He doesn't share those. But, you know, so he did that, and then his stream ended really weird. I remember watching it. The whole day it was like blowing up the entire internet, like what the hell happened? And, you know, a couple months later, he was like gone after initially starting to talk about that stuff. So let's go from here. This is when he apparently got the text message that Midnight Society was severing ties with him.
You know how we run things here.
Poor Pal World. I mean, you can just see his face. Everything shifts. Oh, you can't see his face now. Hang on. I mean, he just goes quiet and goes back to checking his phone over and over and over again, you know? Might get blacklisted in the Japanese industry. Yeah, Japan is 16. I hate that the age of consent is 16. Actually, the funny thing is, apparently that's better than it used to be in the U.S. Apparently in the U.S. it used to be much lower than that, which is disgusting, absolutely vile. But again, I wasn't the one making the laws at the time. So Grums had responded to Midnight Society saying, what parties did they speak to? There are none except for Cody and Dr. Disrespect. That's just one guy's word versus the accused. Well, again, I don't think Grums is getting the whole context. When they talk parties, they talk to Twitch. That's who it was. If a woman propositions you, it's looked down on to refuse. Well, if I was single and in Japan, I got that Asian persuasion going on, I probably wouldn't want to say no either. What's in the box? Yeah. So Grum says this was not mutual agreement. If it was, Dr. Disrespect would have been ready and led with a statement at the same time. This looks like a knee-jerk unilateral move. And you can tell it was a unilateral knee-jerk reaction because he was taken out, just like it back in 2020 when he was finding out that he was done. And you could see it in real time. That's exactly what happened today. Midnight Society is not a court of law, regardless of the truth. It's reckless for them to make this statement and make it sound authoritative on the matter. You can choose to distance yourself from a co-founder, but you don't use language like this that implies guilt without opening yourself up to big legal problems. I don't think Midnight Society is facing legal issues. I think their statement was fine, but again, I'm not a lawyer. I think they are just doing what they think they need to do to cover their ass in case there's something worse, you know? So the Quartering has been tweeting out a lot today, because he's had a lot of issue with the way this is being handled. And he said, Dear Daniel Clancy, the CEO of Twitch, I know as the CEO of Twitch, you must have some sort of answer as to why you protected a alleged, I'm going to say alleged because I don't want to get this taken out of context, protected an alleged child predator for the last 4 years. I mean, since all these journalists know that Dr. Disrespect was guilty of predating on a minor, I thought you would like to comment. And that's, again, another thing. If Twitch is going to let this story ride, and because of the NDA, for whatever reason, the NDA couldn't possibly have anything to do with the crime because that's not valid. You couldn't get a judge to sign off on that. But we'll just roll with that. If the NDA involved criminal activity, then why is Twitch at this point, now that the information's been leaked, not releasing a statement, not commenting on it? Grums should save his ammo for Dragon Age. Grums is enjoying his moment, okay? He got famous. Look, I was not even aware of who he was until he did the tweet about freaking Starfield, about the menu screen, right? Saying that the menu screen was indicative of a game that was rushed, the game that wasn't finished, and then he turned out to be right. So all the people that were attacking him, he was spot on. So that's where I actually first found out who Grums was. Now apparently he's like the leader of the culture war and all this and stuff, and it's like, I don't necessarily trust the guy super ecstatically. Like, I'm not a Grums fan, but I use what he puts out there, and I give him the benefit of the doubt. And like I said, I've kind of looked through Nick Calandra's investigation of Grums and stuff, and all I can say about Grums, I think he's definitely enjoying his moment in the spotlight. No shade on that. No harm, no foul. I don't know that game that he's been working on in crowdfunding is ever getting finished at this point. But then again, there's comic book artists who've been crowdfunding for 4 years and still not delivered a product. So, I mean, I'm not going to judge. Whatever. Eric, are you still going on about this? House of Ithmar, priestly bloodline of Aaron, the high priest to Yao. Okay. All right. Thanks, Aragar. Appreciate your time. Twitch is saving face as much as they can. Drops now that they hit anything in this. Well, that's the thing, though. How can you save face by not saying anything when you've got this guy who is being attacked as some sort of pedo? But like, it doesn't make sense. Twitch looks worse for not commenting on it. Psychroma. Wait, what? An indie title from Weird Ghost? They actually have a game coming out? House used to be a good show. House was a good show up until the final 3 seasons. They should have ended it when he started having a heart and acting like a real human being, and then all of a sudden, the next season was shit. Grumps has a lot of good experience in the games industry. It's just that, unfortunately, a lot of people take everything he says as doctrine, and look, we all get it wrong, okay? Every one of us gets it wrong at some point or another. It's funny that he should save his ammo for Dragon Age. That's pretty hilarious. Yeah, exactly. We all screw up. 100% we all screw up. Wild, do you think that that silence is their best option at this point still, really? Twitch broke the NDA to talk to Midnight Society, or they're complete morons. Well, I mean, I believe that they're complete morons. That's where my vote goes. Yeah, Oblithian, I was live streaming to both channels to test it out to see if it actually works. I was telling Mahendra earlier, I don't always get opportunities to make content for both the podcast channel and the gaming channel. And so when I'm going to cover stuff that I would post on either one, I wanted to see if it would actually be productive use of my time to have a live stream available for both audiences, and then that way the stream is available on both channels. I don't know if I'll do it in the future. It's a little confusing because then I have to be logged into both channels at the same time to do any sort of moderation, and that's a complete pain in the ass. So I'll probably hold off on doing that in the future. But I know I can do it now. That's the good thing. Let me see. It's a DEI woke Psychroma. Huh. Yeah, I've had 2 channels for a while. So, okay, before we continue on this, especially since it's my birthday and my wife's birthday, we got the same birthday 1 year apart, I have to give her a lot of props, a lot of credit, because the name Minimal Effort was actually her idea. Can I change the color of the logo? One says podcast, one says live. And so here was my thinking. Okay, this channel, when I was first just streaming on Twitch, doing video game streams, thinking I was going to be a gamer, was this YouTube channel was just for making like video game related content. And then it got into like weird political stuff. And then I just basically a couple years ago was like, I don't know what to do with it, right? So then my wife and I made the podcast channel because she wanted to spend time actually sitting down recording stuff with me, like making, talk about movies, TV shows, video games, politics, whatever. And the first few videos on our channel, on the podcast channel, are her and I talking. But she's been so busy with work, with the kids and all that stuff, that she just doesn't have time to do this anymore. So it's been like a solid year where I had to pick up the channel and be like, well, I haven't done anything with the channel since you stopped, so I'm just going to start making videos on my own. And in the meantime, I'll just stream on Twitch when I do the live streams. So what I decided was this channel we're on right now was going to be the live stream channel for the podcast channel. But that never happened. I couldn't consistently make myself get on and do it. So then I was like, you know what? I'll just put gaming content over here. We'll talk about games. Maybe if I play a video game, we'll just put it on here. And then all of a sudden, Sweet Baby Inc., Gamergate, everything kind of coalesced all at once. And my channel just blew up overnight. The video that got me monetized, I think got like 66,000 views. So then it was like, well, okay, now I actually have 2, part-time YouTube channels that I have to maintain. So it's just, yeah, Eloquiz, sorry, I should have told you to hop over on the other one. When you were live, the new YouTube bezel cover. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so sorry, that was the long answer to a short question. But that's the reason that both channels have a similar name. This one's Minimal Effort Gaming, or Minimal Effort Live is the actual URL, whereas the other one is Minimal Effort Podcast, which is going to be more reserved for entertainment and maybe political stuff, and this one's more for gaming related content, gaming news, gaming journalism, that kind of stuff. So I just figured I'm not getting any videos done tonight. We'll just live stream to both and confuse the hell out of everybody, apparently, because that's apparently what I'm good at. So, of course, no response. In fact, if we go to the CEO of Twitch, go to his Twitter feed, 9 hours ago, let's see, something about some guy named Zach Bryan. Yeah, he doesn't tweet much. Last tweet before that was June 18th. Pride Unity Guild. This guy's looking rough. This man here is the CEO of Twitch. Damn. You found the origin story very interesting. Oh, good. Yeah, well, honestly, Mahendra, today was a very normal day, unfortunately. Worked, stressful day, as they have been since I've been working full-time by myself. And we had dinner. My wife's parents came over and chatted for like an hour. Kids played out with the neighbors out in the yard for like the entire night. I cleaned the cat box, did the dishes. And then hopped on here after the kids went to bed. So, yeah, Blu-ray, those are bots, man. Not a single person chatting on Twitter. Those are freaking bots. That CEO streaming on dial-up 100%. Methed out Richard Branson. Oh my god. All right, so Quartering also asked Rod Breslow, who, by the way, Rod Breslow over at Slasher, put this tweet out 4 years ago. Now, it's also important that you know Cody Connors, who is the guy that started this entire thing, is buddies with Rod Breslow over here, okay? This reporter. So the Quartering asked, why would Slasher, Rod Breslow, protect a child predator for 4 years? Are you pro-child predation? And this tweet from June 27th of last year, from 2020, almost 4 solid years ago, says, look, for several hours now, I have been told from credible sources the reason Dr. Disrespect has been banned. However, due to the importance and sensitivity around the subject, I have refrained from going on it. I don't feel comfortable with it currently. This man supposedly sat on this information for 4 years and said nothing. And he's not the only one. No worries, Mahendra. Appreciate you hanging out, buddy. So yeah, this dude sat on this for 4 years, as well as every other journalist saying the exact same thing. You got Tipster over here. Tipster, who I have never interacted with. I don't even know anything about Tipster other than he's trying to be like best buddies with Keffels now. And apparently Tipster is like on his journey to becoming trans or in a trans relationship or all I've seen is some very strange situations from Tipster. Things that I've read online, and I'm like, that's disturbing. So he quote tweeted Midnight Society and said the DocZone development studio has kicked him to the curb after an internal investigation citing facts that are difficult to hear and even more difficult to accept. And y'all still out here like, we gotta wait for proof though. They're trying to extort Twitch or Doc for money. I mean, maybe. Yeah, Burner, you tell the bots what's up. CEO said some weird story about aliens when asked about what happened to Doc a few months ago, trying to be funny, but that was just weird. The guy doesn't look normal, okay? He doesn't look like he could have a normal conversation. Hey, I'm going to make life easy. I'm ending the stream on the podcast channel so we can just focus on this one. Let's go and end. All right. Now I don't have to have that other tab open. Make life easy for myself. Not that I wanted to do it, but I had to do it. I'll have to answer for everything I've done. I'm not planning on banning you. Look, I can't think of a single person that I banned. It's just you come in here spamming all that, and it just seems like you're off your rocker or trying to, like, I don't know what. But no, I have no intention of banning you. The more the merrier. Just don't be weird. I hope Keffels is giving him his hormones on the cheap. I don't know. Keffels is... Oh, God. I had an article back when Fandom Pulse was still up and running. I had an article that Josh from Kiwi Farms shared talking about Keffels. That shit, that article got tens of thousands of views. It was pretty spicy for a while. It was good. Let me see. And so, of course, some ordinary gamer, Mudahar, his wife, Dojangle, says, remember that clip of Tipster yelling, show me the proof for STFU? A lot of proof was shown that Keffels was wildly inappropriate with minors and misappropriated $100,000. Vaush showed the proof himself from his own PC that he saved degenerate images. Oh yeah, the Vosh horse child anime lolly stuff. Tipster is a disgusting degenerate and proof doesn't matter. I don't want to hear him screaming, show me the proof when he's accused of stupid shit he likely brought on himself. And yeah, I think that that's honestly the most rational take that you could have for a lot of this. A lot of the people saying that, oh, you stop simping for Dr. Disrespect and get off your knees and, you know, cope harder. It's like, we just want a little bit of evidence. Some shred of evidence that says, hey, here's what he did. Here's, you know, what about the claim? Like not some rando on Twitter who used to work on at Twitch who has been trying to grift off of it for 4 years. Just something, you know? Nicholas Diorio, 26 minutes ago, I confirm Keemstar's asleep, go to bed. All right, so apparently there's nothing dropping tonight. Whatever, that's fine. There's still plenty to go through. Then you got this dude, Giovanni Colantonio. This dude, who, if I'm not mistaken, we've covered in the past. He works senior gaming editor at Digital Trends. Yes, speedrun by Polygon, previously at Inverse. We have talked about him before. A lot. Even when they're infighting. Oh, there's so much. There are so many. Like I said, downside, the only downside to being on my own, not getting into clicks on YouTube, on Twitter. Like I have people I'm friendly with. Like I said, John Delarose, I've written for him on Phantom Pulse. He's still trying to get me to write for him on like his Substack and stuff, and I just haven't had time. But Dread Roberts, we've actually talked. Some of you guys recommended that we collab. I told him, hey, when you're not busy with life and kids and new baby and moving, you know, hit me up. We'll do something. And yeah, Smash JT, you know, I've kind of taken a liking to him. Those are the only 3 guys in the YouTube sphere that I regularly interact with. And it's usually just through Twitter and, you know, watching each other's videos. Like, I don't have any clique that I'm in. And it sucks because, like, look, I'm never going to get invited on Hypnotics, Hypnocast. I'm not going to be on Flashcast. I'm not going to be on Friday Night Tights. I'm not going to be on Geeks and Gamers Tuesday stream or whatever day they stream. But I'm just doing my own thing here. And the blessing of that is that I don't ever have to worry about being in one of these, you can't be friends with this YouTuber because so-and-so said this and this person did that and you can't. It's like, guys, I have a real life. I've got a real job. I've got a wife and kids and shit to do. And it's like, I don't have time for this crap. Oh, Dread's awesome. Super cool guy, you know? Saying they assumed his innocence but still let him go. I don't get it. Yeah, dude, it is so much of this is just so unhinged. The amount of insanity that these people are just like projecting. So Giovanni says, people keep screaming about wanting to see proof, but what would it matter to folks who have already adopted him as a culture war figure? I never adopted Dr. Disrespect as a culture war figure. Can You never say never. Oh, okay, fine. Maybe not never say never. However, let's put it this way. I'm going to just do my own thing, and well, Wild, I'm not against it. So, yeah, I'm not against it. I have no problem with those guys. I've watched their content, and I support all of them. It's you know, they're all cool. It's just I'm not wired that way, I guess. Oh, you got invited on? That's cool. I don't know. Yellow Flash, I've been following him for a long time. Actually, I don't even watch the Quartering anymore, but I still watch Yellow Flash. The Quartering, can somebody tell me something? What is with the Quartering's topics lately? Like, every third video that he's making the last 2 weeks is about the fast food crash. Now, I'm not gonna, like, throw shade because apparently he's still getting like 80,000, 100,000 views on a video talking about Burger King or Arby's going out of business. But I can't be bothered to watch videos about that. Oh, they've actually brought me up. That's cool. What is he on about culture war? I have no idea. I didn't even know that Jeremy and Jay at Geeks and Gamers even knew I existed. That's cool. I just don't want to try riding somebody else's coattails just to try to make my channel grow, because that doesn't, A, there's no longevity to it. B, you get into this weird Twitter drama, click stuff, because look what's going on with Comicsgate and Ripperverse, guys. I got no dog in any of those fights. Like, I bought Eric July's first comic because I'm like, well, if this guy's going to make good comics and I can get my kids something in the future that I know isn't going to be complete shit and get my kids into comic books, you know, I didn't read comic books as a kid. Maybe that's something that could be a positive thing for them. Same with Clownfish TV. I got my kids one of Clownfish's books. The kids love it. It's a graphic novel, really good. I ordered 2 more that are coming later this year because they're cool people that put out good work, and I want to support those people. It's, again, the idea of independent creators. But the last thing I want to do is support one person and then be told by somebody else, oh, that's dog shit, or you can't like that, or you shouldn't like it because this reason or that. It's like, it's the whole Ethan Van Sciver, Eric July thing. It's like, guys, I don't have any use for that. And unfortunately, that doesn't just go with comics. It goes with YouTube. It goes with Twitter. It goes with every other aspect of it. $3.99 McChicken. Dude, I just went and got McDonald's for my kids tonight. My wife and I got Chipotle, and my boys were both like, I don't want Chipotle, so we got the McDonald's. I got a free McChicken because it was my birthday, a double cheeseburger, and a large fry, and it still cost me $9 freaking for a double cheeseburger and a large fry. Crimson Ren, yes. My daughter actually, I got it for my son, my oldest kid, thinking he would actually like it. And then he was so disappointed when he opened it on Christmas. My daughter, who's the bookworm, read it cover to cover like in one day. And eventually my son got around to reading it. He's like, oh, this is really good, Dad. Thank you, you know. I actually haven't subscribed to Dr. Disaster yet. I need to. I've seen his videos around. I don't think I've ever watched them. Kind of like a... I don't want to be mean, but like, because there's Knights of Melvin who covers a lot of Star Wars stuff, and he's kind of like a bargain Doomcock, Overlord DVD. Disaster, what's his face? Hang on, I lost it. Dr. Disaster. Yeah, he's kind of the same way in my opinion. I like it. I like the whole performance art side of it, you know? For a while when I was first streaming on Twitch, I was wondering, do I create a character or do I just stream as me? And I didn't have the energy for that. Oh, hey, Nico, thanks. Appreciate it. He popped off more than Hypnotic? That's crazy. Hypnotic's like at 46,000 subs. Honestly, it's really funny because I always tell my wife when I'm talking about it, because she doesn't watch all my videos. She doesn't have time. Not to mention, I don't know that she'd even care. I think she's aware of the video game stuff, but like as far as like the ins and outs every single day, all the drama, I don't think she's that invested in it. That being said, a lot of times I've told her, I'm like, I tend to punch above my weight class. Yeah, I'll have videos that get 1,000 views. I'll have videos that only do 4 or 5. But then I'll have videos that get like 40, 50, 60. And for me, with less than 6,000 subscribers, I'm like, I'm doing pretty good when I see channels that have like 50, 60,000 subscribers, or even like Vera Dark, she's got like almost 100,000, and she has videos that only get a couple thousand views. So I have to remind myself that it's not just about competing with other people for views. It's like you still have to stick to what works for you. And unfortunately, a lot of this, because you're competing in the same marketplace for viewership, you're still competing with people, even if you're not like antagonistic towards those people. Like I support all of them. I want them all to do well. You're still competing for views in the course of the day. Those McDonald's videos slap. Yeah, I'm not saying that he shouldn't cover them. I'm just saying I can't get it. I can't get into it, you know? So, Wild, the thing about Jeremy being scatterbrained is it's the same situation I have where I want to sit down, and I used to do scripted videos. My first big video was on this chick, Eliza Blue, back last year on Twitter. The whole thing blew up because she was kind of exposed as being a fraud. And I did a video that got like 25,000 views, and it was crazy. And it was a scripted video, right? And so at that time, I was like, okay, this is gonna be my blueprint, my format moving forward. I'm gonna have video game footage in the background. I'm gonna do research. I'm gonna take a couple days to write a script. I'm gonna do all these articles and compile it, put like a cohesive train of thought together, and then it's gonna take me like 3 days to make a video. I would do that and get 30 views total. 30 views total in the entire life of a video. At that point, I decided I cannot justify doing that. So then I switched to doing like the Quartering does, where I want to sit down and just plan out my thoughts and record it start to finish in one shot. Most of the time I get that done. I know every video I do, I tend to have to re-record. It's just the way it is. I'll get to like 3 minutes in, I'll feel good about it, and then all of a sudden I'm like, all right, my brain just trailed off. I can either stop right there and try to pick it back up like in another video, or I can just restart the whole damn thing. And I tend to just restart the whole thing. So I understand and can sympathize with the Quartering as far as like the being scatterbrained. That being said, I do try to make sure I have my thoughts put together a little bit beforehand. Jeremy's a chubby, he's gonna cover it. Ouch. Oh man. That's just cold, okay? That's cold. Doomcock's a bargain, Doomcock. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Would I give my kids my channel if I got like mega old? Maybe. My kids have a channel, but it's not like a family vlog channel where they have perverts messaging them. I have to edit videos for them, and basically it started off they wanted to do video game videos, and then I was like, okay, well, I'll take your half hour that you recorded on the computer and splice it together and put some memes in there. Now they're working on creating like videos of like the Mario movie, but with their toys, and they're super cringe and they're horrible and they're like 45 minutes long, but the kids love them. And so I uploaded one on their channel a couple months ago. They're working on another one right now, but it's like, oh my God, it's so bad. 6,000 subs late February and is now at 38,000. That is a way bigger growth than Hypnotic. What Hypnotic has going for him is those live streams where he's getting thousands of dollars. It's like, dude, maybe you guys can explain this to me. I look at all of you guys as being just like me, where I don't have the money to go spend, like going to someone's stream and throwing money around like I'm hot shit, like, oh, I'm just gonna drop $200 just for a super chat. You know, where do they find these people? That's what I want to know. Like, are these people who live online, like they have some job where they make way too much money, they don't leave their house, they don't have kids, and so they just spend money online on super chats to kind of like flex or whatever? He's based, wife, job, kids, yeah. The other YouTube page is Minimal Effort Podcast. It should be linked in the description, Nico. I just need to get more. I need to get my brain focused back onto maybe alternating and not trying to get videos uploaded on this channel every single day. Because what will happen is I'll get a really good topic I want to talk about on the podcast channel that's not necessarily gaming related, and then I'll get home and I'll be like, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I need a shower, I gotta still take care of the kids and the cats and the dog, and we gotta run to Costco tonight, go get groceries. We cleaned up, I'm cleaning dinner dishes at 8 o'clock at night, and it's like, well, I've got an hour and a half until I have my free time, and then I'm gonna sit down at 9:30 at night and be exhausted. So, yeah. I need to get better at alternating getting content on both channels semi-regularly. Drunk 3PO gets no love and he's awesome. Okay, but here's the thing about Drunk 3PO. I don't think about him as somebody who actually, like, does he put out YouTube videos on his own? I know that he's part of so many of the other, like, channels, and he's best buddies with Gina Carano and, like, all that other stuff, but does Drunk 3PO have a presence outside of those situations? Sonic gives me diarrhea, Gregory. Wendy's is okay, but the food's always cold. Yeah. He's also secretly wealthy, so he primarily does this stuff for fun, not to become huge. Are you talking about Disaster? That's pretty cool. Oh, Blithian, awesome. Appreciate you giving him that info. Sorry, I'm just now catching up on chat, guys. Yeah, I saw something about this 8-year-old girl that had a crafting channel, who now that she's 12, 4 years later, she's had this dude who's been stalking her for like the last 4 years, and he just showed up randomly at her house to take her out on a date. Grown-ass man, 12-year-old girl. I can't say what I'm thinking right now if that happened to me. First of all, I'll never let my kids have a vlog. So like with them, I told them, I'm like, guys, if you're gonna do something with like the little toys and film a video, please don't have your faces in the video. It's like I've gone through and tried to scrub every picture I have of them off of Instagram, off Twitter, anything that's public. The only place that I have pictures of them that I actually upload is my private Facebook page that has like 100 of my family and friends on it, and it's just to keep up to date with family. That's it. But yeah, the whole family vlog thing, I've had relatives that have done it, and I get the desire. I understand it. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. But it's like, it's so dangerous. Oh, thanks, Nico. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to try to get back to uploading more consistent content on there. Oh, Doc Disaster has his own DEI list. Okay, cool. They all got the money, no friends. Well, see, Burner, that's the thing, because I personally can't stand my own voice. I think we're all very critical of ourselves, but to be honest, like for me personally, it's taken me 4 years of live streaming videos, editing videos, trying to create shorts or reels or any of that kind of stuff to get to where all those things where it's like I have to be able to tolerate my own voice long enough to get through it. Most have some form of disposable income that they can toss around. I believe it. I think veterans are probably a large percentage of YouTube audience, because remember, YouTube leans heavily male, and that basically that 25 to 50 age range, you know? Hey, Hunter! Dude, I was just about to message you on Discord when I saw you had liked one of my tweets earlier. I'm like, I need to check in on you and see how you're doing. Let's see. Oh no, Blu-ray, I 1000% agree with you. My kids, so my oldest kid is 11, and we're going to get him in maybe the next few months, get him like a flip phone to call us, like if we have to take him to like the in-laws, or if we're at the gym, because it's the YMCA, and we're like, okay, well, you guys go play pickleball or whatever, and then, you know, that way if we can find you in the building, give us a call. Nothing that has social media on it. My kids, I've told them, you guys can do all that after you're 18. So like their YouTube channel thing that I have for them, no comments on the videos. I upload whatever they make, and that's it. Like there's not gonna be any of that shit going on. Not happening. You're thugging it out, dude. Are you camping out of the car, man? 40-something vet, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's literally that age bracket, you know. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, no, that's, yeah, I don't want to say too much, because I know that there are people who have family members. And like I said, I have family members who have done the family vlogging stuff too. And I don't think it turns everybody narcissistic, but I do think that can go to your head, you know, a lot easier than certain things. Yeah, covering faces. So for example, somebody on Twitter did one of those things, post a picture of you from 2010, whatever, 2012, 10 years ago, whatever it was. And so I had one that was a good profile picture of me, and it had my oldest kid who was a baby at the time. So I just slapped an emoji over his face. No, he doesn't look like he did then, but it's still a picture of my baby who I don't want all over the internet. So, you know, I covered his face. No big deal. Bourbon. Hey. Come here. Come here. Oh, little guy heard dogs barking. Stop. Stop. Got my mom's dog because apparently she had to be a flight attendant, so now I have a dog. Oh, man. You don't stream because you have a face for radio? Well, do you have a voice for radio? Because that could be an option for you. In Japan, covering kids' faces was the norm since Facebook started. Yeah, well, I mean, and with Japan also, you've got a lot of those things because reality is, like, they do the whole masking thing long before COVID and all that. Oh, drunk 3PO is secretly rich. Okay, I got you. Because it barely watches. Well, I mean, look, if I wasn't covering, like, really, I'm not going to say controversial, but really, like, trending topics and stuff, offering insight into things that are polarizing or, definitely more engaging due to the fact that we have this current culture war going on, I wouldn't get nearly as many views. So, how did I get a house? I'm in an apartment that I've been in for the last 8 years of my life. Threw myself at your friend's parents' feet. Been with them for 3 weeks, but you signed a lease and moving into an apartment. Hey, dude, awesome. Hunter, I am excited for you, dude. That's awesome. You stop growling. You stop growling. Yeah, Purple Sky, dude. I wish I had a house. My wife and I've said before, we were thinking by 2020 we were going to be in a position to buy a house. We had our finances in order. We were, doing better as far as getting savings and everything else. We thought 2020 was our year. No. 2020 kicked us in the nuts and then stomped on them. So, anyways, Giovanni Calantonio is a dick. So there's that. And then what else did we have? Oh yeah. So Ethan Gok, whatever his name is, over at Kotaku even wrote an article about this stuff. Their article's not worth going to. I was going to archive it just to show you guys. There's nothing in there that's even worth mentioning. But Dr. Disrespect apparently came back from his stream today. And after this whole thing with Midnight Society, he basically said, I need to take a break, right? So here I'm going to play this right now.
Thank you for the 50. Cameron Hartley, thank you for the 5. How come you have a cupcake but not me? Thank you for the 5. How we feeling, Doc? Says Roy. I'll be honest, I'm feeling a little fatigued. Feeling a little fatigued. We came in here, champs. We came in here. High energy.
The dog really wants to bark.
High energy. But I'm telling you, man, I'm just feeling fatigued. Right? Feeling a little burnt out. Yeah, but I appreciate you guys showing up. I appreciate you guys showing up. But I am serious when I say I'm feeling a little fatigued. When shit like this happens over the weekend and it just kind of, it's like how many times can I I don't, like I'm actually tired of being on social media, and I've expressed that over the years, champs. I just, I've always kind of hinted like it'd be nice to get off and just completely separate, right? Go live in Costa Rica or something.
I mean, I think we'd all be okay with that, right?
I don't know.
Hunter, you want a sword on Rumble? Hey, let me figure out how to do it and I'll get that for you.
I think, I came into this.
I don't have anybody modded on Rumble.
When did we start streaming, champs? 2015?
Oh, it was his
16?
lawyer, okay.
Been doing this since 2009.
What language would I speak as a second language? Well, I took German. And I was pretty good. I was damn near fluent at it because I actually did it for a couple years. German 101 through 103 at community college level, and before that I had a basic, rudimentary German class going into high school. And so I was pretty good at it. My brother and I both took German, and so we were always speaking in German back and forth while we were at work and at school and stuff. So for us, it was really easy to practice it. Unfortunately, now it's like, it's pretty rusty. But yeah, German was definitely my favorite subject when I was at college. I mean, I liked some of the history classes, I guess. I don't know. Not a fan of the current school system we have in this country and how things are done. Go figure. Would I live in Germany? Absolutely not. I don't think so at this point. Germany just seems to have too many problems, much like what we have here in the US, but it's a much smaller country. So. Irish, do you mean Gaelic? Like actual, like, literal Gaelic, or you mean the Irish expressions? Because Gaelic is a weird-ass language. That one is strange. I thought I wanted to learn that until I actually started looking at it. Das Boot. Jawohl, mein Herr. No, German's fun. It's just that everything in German sounds disturbing. Like, the word for pretty in German is hübsch, or schön. You want to say, I'm sorry, you go, es tut mir leid. Or, excuse me is Entschuldigung. German's a funky language, Gaelic. That's cool. Yeah, the Gaelic is a weird language. So it says here, he talks about stepping away from streaming in the internet and suggests he'll completely remove himself from Midnight Society as well, which was itself in the process of announcing he was ousted. He seems to have bailed on finishing the rest of the Elden Ring DLC. I don't think it's fair to say he's bailed on it. I mean, look. Where would you rather live then? I don't know. So in the US here, there's some options. I mean, I've not been to Texas yet. I've been to Oklahoma. Not ideal, other than the fact that when we were in Enid, it was a lot of fun, but we also didn't have our kids with us. So, I guess Austria. Yeah. I love German food. Flugenhausen. German has fantastic words like Geschirrspülmaschine. Dishwasher. Flugzeug. Or, oh god, what's the other freaking awesome word in German? But once you know how their wording works, pretty easy to learn. Conversational, just slow. That's funny, we got people in here who speak Gaelic. That's awesome. That is freaking awesome. So here's where he talks about stepping away.
But I'm kind of, I'm exhausted in being in front of the camera. I'm exhausted being on socials.
Yeah, I liked Enid. It was a lot of fun.
The industry's changed so much. Just so much different energy out there, negative energy and clashing, and from everything that we've experienced as we've started this whole journey together, you know what I mean, champs? And I'm just like, when I go outside, I just feel so much better. When I remove myself, I just feel, what the hell is this,
Alien speaking Gaelic.
Say. Keep playing, Doc. We don't care. The fuck? Okay. Grief Warden, thank you for the $25 donation. Big Bearded Scotsman, welcome. Payback, thank you.
I'd like to learn
months.
Russian now, at this point.
Champs, I'm going to call it right there. A little short one. We've accomplished some things, but I think more importantly, we need to step away.
Stop growling, dog. Yeah, that's a really rough look on his face right there. You can tell that he's not got a lot going on as far as like he's lost for words.
I mean, I'm gonna have to. Either have to relay this to the Midnight Society, but
Now, what's curious about that, he says he's gonna have to relay to the Midnight Society. I can't recall if they had put the statement out before he said this on his stream or after. It's a weird, like, I don't want to say he's coping. It kind of sounds like he is, that whole dealing with stages of grief. If this is something he's going through in real time where it's actually causing him to have grief. Because at that point, if I'm not mistaken, Midnight Society had already decided he's out. So this is like the whole, oh no, you didn't leave me, I left you. You didn't fire me, I quit, that kind of stuff. Let's learn Russian and do videos talking. There you go. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is I think today it was definitely that kicked him in the balls, Oblivion. That's probably what put him over the edge. Purple Sky, I think my age range for like the bulk of my subscribers is what I was talking about earlier. You know, men in their age 25 to 45, like that bracket, you know, kind of like the target demographic for 99% of YouTube, because that tends to be the largest demographic on YouTube. Few things mostly Irish and very culturally Irish. Mostly Irish Italian. Yeah, Irish Italian. Hell yeah. Oh, thanks, Every John. Appreciate it. My grandfather, my mom's dad, he lied about his age. He was born in 1900. My mom's mom was kind of kooky. You got to keep that in mind. Very gullible, not totally with it, heard voices or whatever. She was certifiable. You're the youngest. Purple Sky, did you tell me you were 19? I think you were the one that last stream said that you were only like 19 or whatever. Maybe there was somebody else. But my grandfather, my mom's dad, he was born in 1900, January 1st, over in Sicily, came through Ellis Island in 1904, and then convinced the woman he married that he was 20 years younger than he actually was. So he was 57 when my mom was born, and he still had like a head full of dark hair and looked really good, short, tiny little Italian man, you know? So I have a lot of his, I'd say coloring and characteristics, because I'm also a short guy and stuff, and God, I can't put on weight to save my life. We've been at the gym a couple times the last week, and there is one nice thing. I do tone up really fast, but I can't gain mass. That with my back being messed up, it's like my body has felt like hell for like the last week and a half. Yeah, 40 to 60, that's funny. Well, don't quote me on that. Purple might be older than 19. I think he said the last stream that he was 19, so I could be wrong, Hunter. I don't know. But yeah, so my mom's mom was half Irish, half Dutch. So between my mom's, parents, she had that Irish, Italian, European thing going on. My dad's side, though, is like a complete mess. There's no telling what, his side is actually comprised of. It's like a little bit of everything. So I just say Irish, Italian because it makes it easier. Dude, stop growling. There's no noise. My God, this dog is like a paranoid schizophrenic. Okay, I was right. Purple Sky is 19. I am literally twice your age, Purple Sky, as of today. Holy crap. It doesn't get any easier from this point on. Just let me tell you that right now. It's not getting easier. So, let me see here. So yeah, Yellow Flash had said, okay, evidence, in response to Midnight Society. And I said, evidence, schmevidence, we live in the age of trial by public opinion. This genius here, Jesse Toninger, says, literally the opposite of what's happening here. Read the statement. They spoke with the parties involved. No one is obligated to speak to you. Because that's what I said, is apparently, yeah, I'm entitled to know everything that's going on, right? Oh, Hunter, you shut your mouth. You don't get to call me old. My children call me ancient. My children are like, happy birthday, Dad, you're 1,000 years old today. Mid-40s? Well, so what I'm going to do is I'm probably opting this winter, if I can find time, to actually have back surgery to fix my herniated disc that I've had for like 10 years. And that should, if it's successful and I heal up properly, that should mitigate 90% of my misery and I can get back to feeling my actual age. Because honest to God, everything else works great except for my back. My back messes up 90% of everything else that I want to do, like working out and being active. Everything always hurts, Overfeeding when you have a high metabolism can be quite annoying, but you will bulk if that's the goal. Yeah, I used to. So Nico, I used to eat about 4,000 calories a day. So I was a gym rat, okay? When my wife and I first got together, I was like solid muscle. I was lean, but I had dudes twice my size coming up to me at the gym going, dude, how do you get so cut? I'm like, because I can't gain weight. Like literally this guy, he's like a heavyset dude in the army. He walks up to me and he's like asking me for pointers. I'm like, man, I would trade you in a heartbeat. because I can't put on mass to save my life. I was eating like 5 times a day, drinking the post-workout mass gainer, creatine, pre-workouts, all that shit, just to gain a few pounds on top of working out like 4 or 5 nights a week. So yeah, I was doing all that. I can't do that anymore. That was in my 20s. Now that I'm pushing 40, that shit all give me heartburn, you know? Oh, you did send one above that. I'm sorry. I gotta catch up here. Mass gainer protein shakes, in addition to a high and healthy calorie intake, will push past your gaining limitations. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, Nico. No, trust me. I used to be a gym rat. Okay, what I was doing was working just fine for me. You know what killed me? Deadlifts. The thing that everybody like talks about. Oh, you got to do deadlifts. I'm like, yeah, no, I did one too many, and I herniated my back. My lower, I think it's my L4, L5. You know. Yeah, Blu-ray. I think honestly, because I've been putting it off for like 10 years. Putting it off for like 8 years that I've known that it's going to be something I got to do. I think this winter, if I can line up getting enough work done where I don't have to go into work, so I can maybe work from home and just, you know, maybe go pick something up if I need to. Because, you know, if you have back surgery where they actually, I think they just remove the portion of the disc that's herniated, you have to like not move and lift anything for like a solid month. Like I think I'm like on a 5-pound limit for like 3 weeks. You don't really do them? Okay, hang on. I gotta close the back door. Dog keeps barking. Bourbon. Oh. All right. I'll just sweat to death. It's okay. It's all good. Dog is like paranoid schizophrenic here going on. Had a better do the surgery at 20. Oh, you're saying you don't really ever do deadlifts? Deadlifts are stupid, man. Under tension and stretched position. Okay. No, when I was working out, the most like straight push-ups I did one day, I was actually dealing with like a head cold or something, and I was like, I'm just gonna go to the gym anyways, right? And so I went and I did 90 straight push-ups. I think I only rested one time in like 2 minutes, under 2 minutes. I'm talking, I was jacked. I wasn't like bodybuilder because I didn't have the mass for that, but I was in fantastic shape. I was the guy at 5'6". I was the guy that you wanted moving you out of your house or moving furniture with you, because all my brothers are all 6 feet tall. They're all bigger than me, but it's like none of them were stronger than me when I was actually in shape. Post-up recovery is fed up. Yeah. I didn't name the dog Burner. To be clear, his name Bourbon, if I could change it, I would. But it's been Bourbon since he was a puppy. My mom named him. She is notoriously bad at naming animals, but it is what it is. He's also not the kind of dog I ever would have. He is a Shorky Poo. He is a Shih Tzu, Yorkie, Poodle mix. Now, he is a cute dog. I love this silly dog. I didn't want to love him at first because he's not the kind of dog I would normally get. But he's an adorable dog. He's just a pain in the ass, though. Oh, yeah, Leroy. Oof. I looked at becoming a personal trainer. Don't name it Bud Light. When I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do as a grown-up, back when I was in my early 20s. So right around the time I got married, before we had kids, I was like, I should study to become a personal trainer, you know? And so I got the whole course, do it at home, get your certification, that kind of stuff. And at that point, I knew a lot of the trainers and stuff at the 24-hour fitness we were going to and all that. And so I was thinking, this is what I'm going to do, right? And then for whatever reason, much like everything else in life at that point, I just kind of crapped out on it. I don't know. It's so weird that you can be motivated about things up to a point, but when it came to actually making myself do the education, making myself study at night, go online, do the tests, I just, you know, I don't know. I just couldn't make myself do it. Yeah, Oblivion, but the thing is, you're 100% right to avoid the deadlifts and squat racks. There are other ways you can work out and strengthen your back and your stomach, your abs, all those things without doing that. But for whatever reason, I don't know. Yeah, no, Nico, I would never. If you have back issues, doing deadlifts is a terrible idea. I wish somebody had told me that, because I was at that point. I was like, I can possibly get hurt. I didn't use a belt. I was just like, I'm just gonna get through everything, you know. You took the courses and did nothing with it. Okay, all right. Well, there you go. Oh, car accident. That's how my brother. So my brother, who's the cop in Wisconsin, he actually had a tumor in his spine that they discovered after a car accident where he ended up with a herniated disc. And in discovering that he had the herniated disc and going to physical therapy where it wasn't getting better, they did an MRI and found he actually had a tumor on his spine that had eaten a part of his spine away. So he also had to have metal rods put into his back to support his spine, where the tumor had put a pocket of fluid and actually eroded part of his spine on top of the herniated disc. So quite terrible. EFL certified swim instructor. Damn, sailing instructor. You got it going on, Oblivion. Being short has its benefits. Yes, 100%. There are a lot of benefits to having a shorter body. Like, for example, when I was in better shape, nobody could beat me at arm wrestling. You know, having that shorter body and leverage was definitely a lot better for those kind of things. Lifting things off the ground, being shorter, much better. Pull-ups are a lot easier. Push-ups are a lot easier for me. Generally easier to gain muscle mass, but yeah, the hard part for me again is that high metabolism. My mom had thyroid cancer, and I think an overactive thyroid, and I know I have an overactive thyroid. I just don't take medication for it. I've never been diagnosed. I don't gain weight. Hey, Gravel Dragon, appreciate it. Let me see. Problem is getting education but not using it. Yeah, well, that sounds like most education, to be honest. The problem with higher learning and the problem with a lot of these degrees people get is the reality that a lot of people pursue a field of study. They think they're going to use it, and they never do. I mean, for example, my brother, who's an officer in the Army, right? He decided late in life he wanted to finish his degree, wanted to get his bachelor's, wanted to work towards his master's, and doing that in his position, because we were all working together as a family, working crazy hours, he's like, the easiest way to do this is going to be if I join the Army, do the ROTC, and then I, enlist as an officer, and I can get my education done that way. He did it. He got his bachelor's degree, but he got his bachelor's in political science or something he'll never use. I mean, he's been in for 10, 12 years now. He's trying to stay in for 20. He's going to be sergeant soon, as far as I know, but he's never going to use his degree. He got trained to fly helicopters, and he doesn't even fly them now because the military doesn't have enough helicopters for him to get any airtime. So education, while useful, while it's never a bad idea to keep learning, I mean, I love learning new things. It's just unfortunate because it just seems like so often it is just such a freaking waste of time and money. And that goes back into this whole discussion about student loan and debt forgiveness and who should be paying for it, and should college-age students be on the hook for tens of thousands of dollars the rest of their life when no one should have ever offered them that loan, So I put this out there. I got some interesting responses from people saying I was just coping. But this was my take on it earlier today about this entire situation. I said, for anyone who's too dense to understand why Cody Connors has opened himself up to a defamation lawsuit, allow me to illuminate some things for you. Dr. Disrespect is innocent until proven guilty. I don't think any of us are going to have any issue with that, right? Relatable? Yeah. No, honestly, he didn't use his degree. Well, so his degree, to my knowledge, his field of study in college had no bearing, his major had no bearing on what he did when he became an officer in the Army. Because when he became an officer, he wasn't studying flying. Going into the military is when they taught him how to fly, as far as I recall. Because he didn't go to a military school. He went to a private university for 2 years to finish his bachelor's degree. Oh no, he did the right thing. He hasn't been hurting for money. He did go through a terrible divorce a couple years ago, and that was expensive because they had to sell the house and everything else. But he makes a good living, Deadlifts are super overglorified. You don't get it, honestly. Stretching the lower back for sure is essential, but squats and leg workouts alone. Yeah, you can do all that with other things. Yeah, well, that's the thing is I'm just going to have to get back to where before I had my back surgery, if I choose to do that, stretching, maybe get back to physical therapy. I was doing chiropractic for a long time. Chiropractor really fixed me up those first couple of years that I was having a lot of pain and nerve issues. Because for me, most of it's like just tightness in the groin, some bladder issues caused by the nerves being pinched. It's like, it's stuff I can live with, but it's not pleasant. It is what it is, you know. You're confused? I'm confused, Burner. So, you don't quote me on anything, because like I said, I wasn't paying too much attention when he became an officer. I was working. I had just gotten married. I was working full-time, 6-7 days a week. When he went to the university and did the ROTC program, and he was like 30 when he started doing that. He was the old man on campus. I don't know that his political science degree made a difference. Right, yeah, I don't know. I'd have to ask him, Burner, but if I got him started on that, he's a talker more than I am. Because I tend to try to talk and listen, like do the whole back and forth conversation thing. When you get him talking, he's not autistic, but he's got like, in my opinion, I think he's got a little bit of Asperger's because he is single focused. Like you could interject or offer an opinion, and he just kind of like says, and this keeps going back onto what he was talking about. So unless you're into Olympic or powerlifting, way safer way to build the hamstrings. Yeah, 100%. I'm not saying that some people or healthy, smart, agile, well-adjusted people who know how to do, whatever without hurting themselves can't do deadlifts without injuring themselves. I'm just saying, for the average person, I think they're overglorified. I think you end up with a lot of people getting hurt. Yeah. Anyways, so I said Dr. Disrespect is innocent until proven guilty. There has been no charges filed against him, no evidence or admission of a crime. If a crime was committed while he was at Twitch, an NDA is not a get-out-of-jail-free card. Criminal charges can and will be filed regardless of an NDA. And this is where a lot of people don't understand about NDAs. It's like, you cannot use an NDA to cover up the committal of a crime, because you have to go get a judge to sign off on it, as far as I know. So a judge isn't going to look at it and say, oh, this person committed a crime against this person, but he's going to accept a certain amount of money as a payoff, and we're just going to sign it and sweep it under the rug. Okay, great. It doesn't work that way. Also, perk for the army fee. Well, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it's so weird. You see the meathead types, and no disrespect, because I was a meathead too, not to the same extent. But it's like the things that the Olympic bodybuilding champion is going to do are not the same things that soccer mom in her 40s or skinny dad in his 50s who's just finally getting back to working out for the first time in 30 years is physically going to be able to do. Everybody has a different capacity for what they can physically do at the gym. For me right now, it's whatever my body lets me feel like I can do. I can literally do whatever I've done in the past. It's the fact that I'm going to feel physical discomfort for the next week, depending on how hard I want to push myself. And that's entirely because of my back injury. So, I said, if Twitch was aware that a crime had been committed and decided to sweep it under the rug, they have opened themselves up to massive legal ramifications. If the rumors turn out to be false, this has now cost Dr. Disrespect provable financial harm, which again, Midnight Society deciding to part ways with him is provable financial detriment to him, which is the basis of bringing a defamation lawsuit. And I just said I'm not saying he's innocent or guilty because we have yet to see jack shit for evidence. Some of you are way too effing ignorant about how all of this works. With that, I get the response of his own game company investigated and decided they had to part ways. LMFAO, get off your knees. So again, why have we not seen evidence? Why is Twitch not culpable if they helped cover up a crime? Why have they not reported it for 4 years if the crime was committed? And this dude, this moron here says, get off your knees, LMFAO. You know, the discourse on Twitter, if Dr. Disrespect is guilty or innocent, regardless of either one, the discourse on Twitter will definitely change you as a person if you spend too much time on it. Yesterday, I ended up pissing off a couple of these blue-haired feminist freaks. And it was really simple. A lesbian who I follow on Twitter, very funny gal, has been talking a lot about how pride is a stupid thing. The whole pride marches, pride parades, pride month, it's all disgusting. It's all become degenerate, weird fetishes that people, put out and parade around in front of kids. It's disgusting. And so, ironically, my kids don't know about any of that kind of stuff. We didn't talk to them about like whole gay, homosexual stuff up until about a year ago. Kind of explained some things to them. And that we do it in the most PC way possible. You say, well, just because you don't live your life the way somebody else does, or you may not agree with it, you still treat them respectfully, and you just don't make a big deal about it out in public because it's just not something you just, it's not tactful, I will say. My kids still, on their own, without us saying anything negative, are mortified over the idea of seeing two dudes kissing or two women kissing. Like, grossed out. My 9-year-old daughter is honest to God grossed out by it, okay? That's not something I've projected on her. We never talked about this stuff for like 10 years. Just, finally one day one of them asked about it. That being said, we're going downtown our little town, and they have their damn cringe pride parade where it's all a bunch of land whales and blue-haired freaks and drag queens. And my children in the back of the car are like, hey, we should yell, hey, gay people. Like, my children decide they want to heckle the Pride, Pride Festival goers. Not anything that I interjected, and I was like, no, let's not do it. We're sitting in traffic. That would be rude. Let's just not do that. I put that out on Twitter in response to this Heidi, this lesbian chick, and I'm like, yeah, my kids wanted to heckle the Pride Parade people. I was so proud. And I get these two lesbian, they, them, she, her, nose ring, piercings all over freaks, all over my Twitter mentions yesterday, calling me an evil person and a bigot and a horrible parent. I'm like, I'm not even going to give you guys the context because you guys are just completely like lunatics. But for whatever reason, these people have nothing else positive going on in their life, so that they're going to spend their entire day. I eventually muted both of them. I didn't block them. I don't block people unless they're like actually like being violent threats and all that kind of stuff, which you don't get very often. But I muted them. And then later on in the day, I posted, I'm like, yeah, apparently, I pissed off the blue-haired freaks today because, I'm not indoctrinating my kids to believe a certain thing. Oh, well, Both of them responded under that post. Ironically, I'm like, you guys don't follow me. You wouldn't have seen my shit unless you went to my profile. So clearly you're more triggered than I am because you're coming here spouting your bullshit. So yeah, Twitter has ruined a lot of people. There's a lot of mentally ill people out there, unfortunately, and they're all on social media. And the ones who are really mentally ill are on social media a lot. A lot. You're low-key still grossed by men kissing? I mean, here's the thing. What's her Twitter? You want to follow her? I don't know her Twitter because I muted and moved on. When I get done with a conversation, I mute and move on. I don't follow or block or any of that kind of stuff. I just, whatever. Yeah, I need to check out Oblivion. I need to check out some of these law tubers and stuff. If Nick Rekieta wasn't going through his shit right now, I'd be curious to watch him, but I don't want to watch Nick Rekieta right now until all his other shit gets figured out. Nick Rekieta is like the polar opposite of this Dr. Disrespect stuff, in my opinion. It's such a weird situation. But yeah, I'll have to check out Rick Hogue. I have no idea. I don't think I've even followed him before. They're assuming the company did an investigation. Well, but investigated what? You can say it doesn't line up with our company's standards, but if it's the crime has to be reported. You can't just say it doesn't line up. There's a difference between this person did something gross at work and this person committed a crime. Or this person said something reprehensible and this person committed a crime. There's a difference. You can't just say, didn't line up with our company's values. oh, by the way, he happened to be sexting a minor. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, non-existent damages happened the moment the company posted that. Yeah. It's kind of right. If your knees are horrible. Yeah. If your back's horrible, knees are bad to spend time on. Land whales. Oh no, that's... Yeah, I know that there's the stigma about like the deep south having like the fattest people in the country. I know Texas is one of those ones that has like the largest group of overweight people. But in this state in Washington, we've got a lot of the blue-haired, nose-ringed land whales. And I had a sister-in-law that I don't ever see anymore, who was kind of mentally challenged, we'll say. Not retarded, not like diagnosed as having issues, but, you know, trauma in her past to where things weren't firing on all cylinders. And she was overweight, didn't take care of herself, kind of was stuck at a childlike age, we'll say. And the only thing that girl ever did for herself was to dye her hair and change her hairstyles. And it was like that was the one thing she could control, because everything else she probably felt like she had no control over. And that's the thing about people who are over a certain size and weight, and they tend to be, again, ideologically like heavily to like leaning left kind of people. They just like the piercings come out of nowhere, and they start putting all these piercings in their face and give themselves these crazy ass haircuts in the weird colors, because that's like the one thing they have control over, you know? It's the craziest thing. That's a normal, like your average Joe. Yeah. Hang on, DB Wild, what do you say? Did I miss your comment? They use throwaway. No, that's the thing, is these weren't throwaway accounts. Yeah, and you know, Oblivion, a lot of us don't want to see two people making out in public either way. It's like, keep that shit behind closed doors. I don't know. Yeah, and that's the thing is, most of us who are, look, I'm far Purple. You're center left. I'm definitely, I'm not center right. I'm right wing. I'm what they would probably consider a right wing extremist. But I can get along with people who are center left because I have no problem with you having the beliefs you have. We might disagree, but I'm okay interacting and you know, discussing them like human beings. The thing is, like, the fringe people are the ones who just can't freaking... I've said before, I grew up in the 90s. In the 90s, Democrats and Republicans would banter with each other about your president or my president, but at the end of the day, they'd still go to work together, hang out together after work, be friends. Your next door neighbors voted for the other guy, and you guys were still at the Sunday potluck together. It wasn't the same polarized dynamic that we have these days. It's just absolutely crazy. Hang on, let me see. Oh, making fun of mentally challenged people. I was just owning my retardation through humor. Oh no, I'm not making fun of actual people who can't help it. It's the there's a certain level of mental retardation that I think is it's kind of like you have type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. One is terrible and you're born with it and you have to like figure out a way to live with it, and the other one's self-inflicted. I think unfortunately a large percentage of people have self-inflicted mental retardation these days. Whether it comes to their politics or just lack of knowledge about the way the world actually functions. Like, I had this gal that wanted to argue with me today on Twitter about the WNBA, because she wanted to argue that the WNBA is becoming more popular and those women are making tons of money when the average salary for a woman in the WNBA is like $65,000. It's an okay living, but it's not enough to, honestly, actually, at $65K, that's not enough to pay for a mortgage on your own these days, depending on where you live. And the NBA is projected to lose, the WNBA is projected to lose like $50 million this year. $50 million that they're going to lose, despite increased interest in the sport. And she wanted to tell me how they're making bank and how everything's profitable. And I'm like, I presented the evidence right there in front of you, and you're just going off like completely unhinged at me. Some people you can't rationalize with, you know? Well, Purple, the thing is, it's not, here's the thing. Like I said, you don't know necessarily how I feel about gay marriage, abortion, borders, all this other stuff. But despite how I might feel and how our opinions might differ, my point is that I can still treat you like a normal human being despite our differences. And that's what I think people have lost. It doesn't matter how different your personal beliefs and opinions are. You can have one person who's complete all the way over here and one person who's all the way over here. But as long as they can still interact like human beings, I think that's the component that's missing. It's not that they need to be more close to center. It's that they need to figure out how to discuss their ideas without being at each other's throats. That's what it is. Hunter, that's really what it comes down to. Stripping society of community and purpose. We don't have this cohesive society anymore. There's always been people who have disagreed. You know, there's always been people who have been on opposite ends of everything. Oh, he was on Rakita Law during the Rittenhouse trial. Okay. They gather online and now harass normal people. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Well, yeah, Leroy, I think my biggest issue with all the pride stuff is the fact that I don't understand celebrating anybody's sexual habits. I don't get why that's a thing. And that's all it really boils down to. That's it. That's, yeah. Let's see. I don't believe in linear political spectrum. Yeah, I mean, well, the two-party system sucks. We all agree it sucks. I think most of us think the two-party system sucks, but good luck voting with third party. Libertarians are stupid. Green Party's stupid. It's like it's all stupid. All the parties, every single one that's ever existed sucks. Well, to be fair, Oblivion, VP is such... I don't want to say vice president's not an important position, because it is. Vice president is why McCain lost, because his was freaking Sarah Palin, okay? Thanos for president. Hell yeah, there you go. Yeah. Way too many old people in government. Yeah, oh no, 100% way too many old people. At the end of the point, if it's irrelevant, why are you here? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, I was shitting on the WNBA for fun. That was it. I was looking at it going, somebody posted a video. They won one game and like the angry chick, Reese, whatever her name is hugging somebody and they're like crying and stuff. And it was like, and the game was ugly and they scored like 65 points. And I'm like, who watches this shit, right? And oh my God, the WNBA players came out of the woodworks to be like, oh, well, we watch it and it's actually really good. Okay. You and the 100 people that can't fill a stadium, have fun, I guess. I don't know. Like, I don't understand people that watch tennis, but at least tennis has a big audience, you know? I like playing tennis. I don't like watching it. Yeah, well, a lot of the founding fathers weren't perfect, but unfortunately, Burner, people look at the founding fathers because of the fact that they were flawed human beings themselves, and they point to that and say, well, see, we can't have good things because the founding fathers themselves weren't perfect people. And it's like, that's not how it works. You don't look at a society that existed centuries ago that wasn't living by today's sensibilities and say, we can't have this because these guys, because of slavery, because there were things that were culturally acceptable or accepted, even if they were morally reprehensible at the time, because of the time they lived in. That you can't judge everything nowadays based on what they did or didn't have, like that was morally reprehensible back then. Oh, I don't know. I think Sarah Palin was worse, to be honest. I voted for McCain, and I didn't want to vote for McCain. And I hated Sarah Palin. Yeah, Hunter, honestly, a lot of it comes down to just tearing down the general... And again, I think, like I said, the whole 90s Democrat, 90s Republican thing, they at least pretended to get along. Now you have the uniparty where the parties are aligned, but the people that are not... The people that vote for them are at each other's throats, but the politicians are all buddies. That's the funniest part. They've gotten us to a point in society where the average everyday citizens are screaming at each other and yelling at each other and killing each other in the streets over nonsense, but the politicians who are angering them are all like sitting back like, oh, where are we going to go? You're going to be at the country club this weekend or whatever. It's completely controlling the masses through freaking anger and vitriol, you know? Yeah. Well, Purple, that's the thing is, when you get into Twitter, here's the thing about Twitter. I'm more fun on Twitter. I'm more fun on Twitter is what I say. Because I don't filter myself as much. I still don't wish people death threats, and I don't go out of my way to intentionally be as mean as possible to people. For a lot of reasons. First off, I don't want to lose my Twitter account. Secondly, it's at the end of the day, I've been online a long time. So going back to my days playing like Guild Wars online, you lose sight of the fact that there's another human being, unless it's a bot, there's another human being on the other side of that conversation that you're having, that argument you're having. And you don't know what that person's going through. You don't know where they are. It's like, you don't know if they're suicidal. You don't know what their deal is. You just know they said something I disagree with, and so I want to get a sick burn in here, and I don't care, what it takes for me to get the last word in the argument. That's where at times I'll just be like, okay, I'm done with this conversation. I'll mute the conversation and move on. I like to do that where it's like, I'll post something that I know people are going to get mad about because it's like a controversial topic, like a Marvel movie. Oh, I didn't like this Marvel movie. Now they're all going to get pissed off at me. And then I'll just mute the conversation. It's like, you know what? It's not worth my mentions getting blown up over dumb shit. Yeah, Gregory, I voted. I know. Okay, see, look, Blu-ray, Gregory. Opposite ends of the spectrum there. You're both right and you're both wrong. Voting doesn't fix things, but you can't fix things without voting. And don't even start Fed posting. Trust me, I get it. I get the desire to Fed post. I understand. And Fed posting might be the only answer, but it's also a break glass in case of emergency situation there. So I hate to go down that road. No parties makes it focus on what the person stands for, not the party. Yeah. You voted for Kanye as a protest. So here's the thing. Most of the time, in most situations, you can look at it and say, doesn't matter who you vote for, doesn't matter who wins. They're both going to do 90% of what the other person was going to do, and the 10% you wanted them to do, they're not going to do anyways. I couldn't tell you one great thing that George W. did. I couldn't tell you one great thing that Bill Clinton did. I can tell you the one good thing that Obama did was, in my mind, the whole more transparency when it comes to like credit card companies and how they, how the interest multiplies and everything else. They had to be a little more transparent with that. But who actually even pays attention to that? The people in debt aren't paying attention to that because they're in debt because of their own dumb choices. And I've been there many times. Nobody pays attention to that. Nobody cares. So the reality is, it's like, you can tell yourself, what does it matter who I vote for? Because at the end of the day, they're both going to lie and screw me over anyways. But then there's that nagging feeling you get that kind of like what we have right now. And again, I know people here probably voted for Joe Biden and people here voted for Trump. And you could make the same argument that Trump didn't do everything he said he was going to do in 2016 through 2020, and that part of what we're dealing with now is the fact that he didn't react differently at the time in 2020. I mean, you can throw blame wherever you want to, and again, I have no problem with people having differing opinions on that. But I'm still going to stand on the fact that I don't think we'd economically be in the mess we are in now if Joe Biden hadn't been elected. And that's just my personal opinion. And we can all feel free to disagree and have different opinions on it. So the question comes down to, can you, in your mind, say, well, I'm okay not voting. I'm okay not voting and accepting that either candidate sucks. But is there ever a time where you question, does one of them suck far more than the other? Like, okay, they both suck, but this guy here is catastrophically awful. This guy here is just the run-of-the-mill suckiness. And I think right now, the state of this country with everything going on from top to bottom, from the federal level to the state level, we are looking at an all-time suck. Like fatal flaw kind of suck, Internet utility. Okay. Yeah, see, we can all find things. That's the thing. Lowering salaries. Comes down to a lesser of two evils, Gravel. Yeah, I see that. I get it. Stir shit up when the algorithm on Twitter throws me the opposite engagement post. Yeah. Split loyalty. Distraction. Change things by installing our guys, which requires community of our guys to be encouraged to run, but ultimately it means voting for them. But see, Hunter, the thing is, our guys needs to be across party lines. Our guys needs to be people who first and foremost want our country to survive. The people in politics right now don't care if the country survives, and that goes across both parties, you know? Provincial election was so disgusted by all the party platforms that you wrote an admonishment on your ballot instead of voting first time you haven't voted. Well, Purple, I think you've only been, if you're 19, then you've only had a chance to vote. Oh, this will be your first federal election coming up. So, that'll be interesting for you. Yeah. Vote for whoever you think is going to be the best person, Purple. I'm not going to tell you how to vote. I voted for a lot of guys on party line that I look back and go, why the hell did I vote for that guy? You know? Put a vote towards like a Romney than a Biden, even if it's useless, better than evil pushers. Yeah, but Romney sucks too. Yeah, Burner, it's really interesting because like I was telling Purple, I'm very much more on the right-wing side of right. I am not a centrist. There are many of these issues that I look at and go, I just don't morally agree with that. But at this point in my life, I'm way too old at this point to think that voting for a guy with an R next to his name is any different than voting for a guy with a D next to his name. That's where I say you have to look at, like you're saying, the individual person and go, Baj, Hassan, Abi, and Prince. Yeah, well, those guys all suck. Okay. I'd say they're like the left-wing version of that idiot chick who got famous for saying the N-word a week ago, and Nick Fuentes and a couple others, you know? And the funny thing is, I probably agree with Nick Fuentes on certain things, on immigration and on national security and borders and stuff. But I can't stand the prick. I just don't like him. I think Nick Fuentes is a psyop. Vote for policy, yeah. Find out, yeah, I mean, that's the best idea, Purple. You know, go for whoever has the thing you care about most, whether it's something that you think is important, and go for that person, you know? Yeah, Hunter, that's one of those things I wish I had more time for, is local elections, because here's the other thing that people get lost on. And this is, Purple, if you don't ever watch Styx Hexenhammer, I would say start watching Styx, especially in this election year. Now, I'm going to warn you, he's a Trump guy, so, but he's not right-wing. Styx Hexenhammer is a pagan left-winger. Okay, he's a pro-gun, like libertarian, except he hates the libertarians because they're cringe. So he's all over the place politically, but he is very smart about policy and the things he believes in, and he'll tell you straight the way that these people are, and he'll call them out when they do stupid things. So Styx Hexenhammer does great political coverage. And I think people like that are the ones you should actually be listening to, because you're going to get a lot less bias because of the fact that he is not a Republican, he's not a right-winger. So for him to be telling you people to vote for Trump over somebody else, it says a lot about policy versus just party line. And those are the people that you actually have to find, people who aren't just going to suck up to the party. Dude, my state, Praise of Shadows, all I've seen from Praise of Shadows is his video where he tried to call Mudahar a right-wing extremist, and Mudahar from Some Ordinary Gamers is a center-left Muslim Canadian. So all I know is Praise of Shadows is an idiot. Yeah, Gregory, he's the guy that made a video or a couple of videos attacking not Brandon Herrera, although he might have attacked Brandon Herrera. He attacked Mudahar from Some Ordinary Gamers because of his Keffels video he did. Yeah, Styx is on Quartercast quite a bit. Quartercast is weird. Somebody else pointed out that the Quartering and Melanie Mack have a weird dynamic, and I'm like, yeah, I tried watching one time. It's odd. Muda's a DEI plant. Here's the thing, I actually like Mudahar's videos. I don't love his takes on Twitter, but that's Wendigoon, yeah, Wendigoon's the other one that Praise of Shadows was shitting on, basically saying that he's like some sort of right-wing terrorist Nazi or whatever. I don't know. The guy turned out to lack integrity. Well, Oblivion, we're still talking about politicians, though. You know, the unfortunate thing is politicians all suck. And I hate to pull one of those my grandfather used to say, but my mom's granddad, so my great granddad, you know, had that thing where it's like anybody who's qualified for the job or smart enough to do the job doesn't want the job. They wouldn't want the job. What's the point? Why would you want that job knowing that it comes with all that baggage, you know? I want to finish up with this one from Tactic Gamer. He's a YouTuber. Now, this is a guy super based, really nice guy. Talk about those guys who don't spend their entire life spurging out on Twitter. This guy's, I don't tend to watch his videos on YouTube. All he does is like gameplay, you know, sneak peek videos and stuff, walkthroughs for first-person shooters and all that. His whole thing about Dr. Disrespect, he says, is here's what doesn't make sense. NDAs don't cover crime. Kind of like what we talked about before. An NDA can't cover a crime. Why wasn't this journalismed about earlier or acknowledged by Twitch? If it's true, Doc is done and should have been done long ago. But also, how many people at Twitch knew and didn't report the crime or even whistleblow on their employer for hiding it? Why would Doc sue and risk discovery that would show the messages in termination even if he knew they'd settled? Very risky. Who did Midnight Society talk to and why did they have information when nobody else did or shared it? So many things just don't make much sense if the allegations were true. And again, yeah, all of us are looking at it going, the allegations could be true. But it's just one of those things where it's like, there's more questions than answers right now. And until you hear that they're like pressing charges against Dr. Disrespect, why would you assume that he's guilty with no evidence being presented? Oh, because his company split ties with him. Yes, because that's never happened over fake allegations ever in the history of mankind. Need to make voting harder? How about we make my vote count, Hunter? All right, Wild. Thanks for hanging, dude. Appreciate it. Getting to the point where those people who know better will have no choice but to step in to put out the fires and pull the countries out of the mud. Yeah. I think it took several of the hot button issues, included them as a vote in the election. It would help. Oh, so Wendigoon's a Christian. That would explain why the guy was attacking him. Yep. Oh, there you go. It's always the same case. It doesn't matter. It's like freaking clockwork at this point. Yeah. No, honestly, I don't know how we fix all of it. But what I'll tell you is the first, I forget about politicians. The first big hurdle we have to get over is the race issue in this country. That's the first thing. Immigration and the race issue, the race war. Because underlying the immigration issue is the still going 60 years of racial tension between the black and white community, or whatever, you know, whatever's being projected and presented as a race riot or race war in this country. Because in general, most of us who interact with white, black, brown people in the course of our daily lives, you have no problem. But then you have all the outliers, you've got the crime statistics and FBI statistics and stuff, and it's like too many people want to point fingers at the wrong issues rather than trying to fix the actual problems. And until those problems are fixed, we can't move forward as a society, as a cohesive cultural society. And again, we're a country made up of different cultures and different ethnicities and different backgrounds, and that's okay. But we've always had this common culture of being American and what it means to be American. And that has gone away. In the same way that you can be a British citizen, but you can only be English by being ethnically English. In this country, you can be American and be whatever ethnicity you want. In England, you have to abide by British culture even if you're not English. And the problem is, just like their British culture is being eroded, our American culture is being eroded, and we no longer have anything in common with anybody else in this country. And then you add on top of that all the immigrants coming here, and we're just basically becoming, what? Unrecognizable at this point. So until those two issues are solved and figured out, and whatever that's going to take to figure it out, and whatever that looks like, I don't think we fix the political issue until we fix the cultural, the neighborhoods, the police relations with certain people and stuff, and trust of the police and everything else. And those are all legitimate issues. And I'm not an abolish the police guy. I've got a brother who's a cop, and I hate police unions. I hate for the fact that there are government bodies who can cover for dirty cops. And there are some dirty cops. There are bad shootings. For every bad thing the cops do, they do 99 good things. But unfortunately, the bad things still happen, just like everything else in everyday life. So there's a lot of these issues that I feel like are just getting swept under the rug due to the fact that, oh, you vote red and you vote blue, let's kill each other, Asians don't even have a race issue, yeah. Yeah, Burner, my kids don't even know that there's a race issue because they don't look at people like that. I'm not raising my kids to feel that way. I'm not raising my kids to feel like, oh, well, you can't trust that person because they're not white, or judge that person because they look a certain way. Outlaw secularism. Yeah, no, Burner, that was again, it started with the politicians figuring out that they could push those buttons once again to control people. And unfortunately, people kind of latched onto that. And now it has had unbelievable ramifications within certain communities. And you can't even address those things without being called racist or a bigot or whatever. And then they lump that for some weird reason into all people that are minorities. It's like there's nothing in common between an African American who's lived here for 3 generations or 4 generations and an immigrant fresh off the boat from Pakistan. Those people have nothing in common. It has nothing to do with it. But they lump everybody of a certain skin tone or anybody who's not white into there's white and then there's all the minorities. It doesn't work that way because, again, culture, religion, common, practices and backgrounds and common heritage. Those things matter more than the color of your skin. It didn't used to matter if you were white, black, Asian, whatever. If you were all Americans and you all spoke English and you could all understand the basic regional, customs and all that, Oh yeah, no, Blithian, I agree. I'm only rambling because it's that time that I have to go to bed, so I didn't even want to talk about politics. That had nothing to do with it, unfortunately. I mean, it does, but all this DEI crap, this is where occasionally in my videos, and this is one of those things, the last thing I'll say on it, is that unfortunately we have a lot of this crap, the DEI stuff. Again, it's being disguised as bridge or Jedi or whatever terms they want to use with these corporations. And all that does is divide people too. But there's a reason it's being injected. There's a reason all this DEI stuff's being pushed, whether it's in video games or movies or music or television, whatever. And it's definitely eroding cultural connectivity. It's destroying our connective fibers of what makes us, a country, a functioning society. So when I refer to it as cultural Marxism or communism or whatever, people, I've had people push back on videos and be like, "Oh, I was with you until you called it Marxism." Well, that's that's the reason that it's happening. That's the roots of where it came from. It's a Marxist ideology. We have to erase everything that came before and start at year 0. And everything that came before was bad, and it was inherently structural power structures and oppressive this and that. And it's like, well, what am I supposed to call it then? Like, I can't call it something else besides Marxism when that's truly what it is. So no, that's just the last thing I'll say on that. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's a tough thing to talk about the DEI stuff and the virtue signaling without it being like, well, you have to understand why it's happening in order to address it and figure out how to move past it, Yeah, it's based in Marxism, exactly. Going to blame on the political party they don't agree with because they have lost all integrity. Yeah. Oh, campaign finance reform would be beautiful. That'd be great. Super PACs suck. NGOs suck. Super PACs suck. Hedge funds suck. Investment firms suck. The housing market sucks. Who was it? Was it Purple earlier that asked how I was able to afford a house in this economy? I just, that was so cute. I need to print that and frame it. It's like, I'm in my same living room that I've been in for 8 years now. We moved into this apartment complex when my oldest son was 1. And then we moved from one apartment to the other and then into this one within the course of like a few weeks because there was problems with that apartment. And so we've been in this apartment since my twins' first birthday. So yeah, we've been in here for 8 years now. And I'm probably never moving out. Unless they have another unit they're working on that they're supposed to be fixing up. And it's got all the upgrades and it's nicer and it's going to cost me more money, which is fantastic. Yay! Oh my God. But, you know, it'll be cleaner and newer than the one we're in now. I'll just have to put everything back up on the walls. And that's going to be a nightmare. Because that's all my territory. My wife doesn't do any of that. Oh, man. All right, guys. I think... Is it midnight already? It's after midnight. I gotta go to bed. I gotta work in like 7 hours. I appreciate all you guys hanging out, though. We've gone over a lot of shit. More than I thought we were going to talk about. I told my wife, oh, I'll probably be wrapped up by 11. It's like, oh, man. He can walk away and retire. Later, Blu-ray, it's been awesome, dude. It's been real. But, Burner, my one concern is... the only way he retires is if he's not guilty. We'll say that, you know? As a normal POC Asian merit person, I find DEI retarded. 100%. Oh, I'll keep that in mind, Oblivion. That'd be the goal. Find somewhere a little bit more remote. You know, Gregory, it ended on a good note for me. Today was not as great as I thought it was going to be as far as days go. Stressful day at work. Things here were a little not great at home until I got everyone settled. But we got through it, and it's just another day. So, and hey, nobody died. Nobody died. That's always the goal. All right, guys, I'm going to hit the hay. Thanks for hanging. Appreciate it.
Step away from there,
We will do
too.
some more
Just
Elden
completely
Ring on Friday.
Myself from the scene. It's what I need to do.
What am I playing? Good God, that's not my music.
I mean,
That Dr. Disrespect in the background. What the hell is that? Turn that off. Send me ribs. I mean, I can cook my own ribs, but I'll take ribs anytime. Hell yeah. All right, later, Burner. Later, guys. Oh, Hunter, my apartment. I don't even want to talk about how much it costs. My 1,000 square foot apartment here is $2 grand. Okay. If we move into the other one, it's gonna cost way more than that. So, yay! Renting is awesome. Alright, love you too, Hunter. You guys, be safe. We'll get some videos out tomorrow night, and then, like I said, back to some more Elden Ring on Friday.